Hey there folks, and welcome back to the Cascus playthrough. Last time we began our adventures with Quintus Cascus, the Imperial Necromancer, and I alluded to his unusual backstory as a reluctant necromancer. Hope you didn't mind the relative lack of character roleplay in the previous episode, as I just wanted to kind of power through the tutorial and then the other tutorial in order to get here where the proper questing experience can really begin. We are at this point level 5. I was just on the screen here so I could hide the helm for the screenshot for the thumbnail. Love making those. But keeping the helm on at the minute, as this is the fit we are dealing with at the minute. So we'll see if we can get some nicer looking armor to combine together, but this is what we have for now. Now, it's been 2 days since I last played, so I actually had 2 instances of rewards, and these were both Akaviri Potentate crates, which is the awards that they had for 2 days ago and yesterday. And I didn't get anything too interesting. I got some face paint from the first one, and I got something a bit more interesting from the second one, which was actually a Akaviri Potentate Greaves outfit style. So if I want to wear a rather nice looking chainmail skirt, I have that as a option for my costume customization. So if I decide to do some costume design, this may be a addition to the repertoire. We shall see. Note, by the way, that I do have both Imperial and Breton designs available, because again, I made a character who was a Breton in order to unlock the Imperial race as playable. So I have all the Breton outfit designs already. And I do also have, let's remember, the crafting motif for Nord style, which I suppose I should go ahead and read now, just so I get those Nord styles unlocked as well, for what that's worth. Let's go ahead and give this a read. Now, the crafting motif series does have an ongoing storyline, so this is the 4th one, and it may not make a lot of sense what's going on, but we do get some fun lore about Nord fashion for whatever that might be. So let's go ahead and give this a read. So using this learns the Nord crafting style, or using this learns used to learn. There we go. The Nord crafting style requires rank 1 of any of the metalworking, tailoring, or wordworking passives, which we do have. Also teaches the equivalent Nord outfit styles, for what that's worth. All right, crafting motif for Nord style. Being notes by Dr. Alphidia Lupus for a series of pamphlets on the major cultural styles of Tamriel. Dr. Lupus was an imperial ethnographer for the potentate Savirian Charak from the 2nd era, 418 to 431, so around 150 years ago-ish, something to that effect. We now come to the Nords, the first human culture on Tamriel to successfully resist and even displace elven hegemony on the continent. Not unlike the Bosmer, the Nords rely heavily on stylized, often interlocking natural motifs in their architecture, crafts, and clothing. However, where the Wood Elves' designs are mainly floral, the Nords emphasize animals, in particular the 8 totem animals of the Old at Morn religion: wolf, hawk, whale, snake, moth, fox, and so forth. They also allow for much more variation of design, to the point where some of the animal motifs are so abstract they are difficult to recognize. Indeed, areas of trim are often filled with interlocking geometric designs that evoke nothing natural at all. Nord design varies in other ways from that of the elves as well, in general relying on simple, heavy, yet dynamic forms, where elven work would be slender, elegant, and understated. Nothing the Nords make is understated ever. This was clear even from outside the Imperial city's Skyrim embassy, where Morian, Devaith, and I had gone to a reception for King Logrolf. The lintel above the oh my gosh, I cannot read right now. The lintel above the embassy door was crowned with a great iron hawk's head, its mouth open as if screaming defiance, while the doors were flanked by bas-reliefs of hawks so stylized they looked as much like axes as they did birds. The door itself was dark oak, banded with iron and studded with iron rivets, as if they expected to have to repel an attack. The inside of the embassy was less martial in appearance, at least once one got past the armed and armored guards inside the door. I wondered if they really needed to wear full helms sporting ram's horns in order to check the invitations of party guests, but the look in the Nord's eyes didn't exactly invite questions. The party, as I said, was a reception for King Logrolf visiting the Imperial City to pay his respects to the potentate. Morian was there representing the Arcane University. He'd asked me to accompany him, and I'd accepted, eager to see our fierce northern cousins in their own environment. When Diveth learned where we were going, he'd attached himself to our party in spite of Morian's baleful glare, and once we were inside the embassy and he was surrounded by loud, boisterous Nords, the Dark Elf Wizard seemed to be regretting his decision to join us. Not so Morian. After he downed a flagon of mead, I was suddenly seeing a new Professor Zenis. Attired in his new robe, he positively bloomed, holding forth on the history of magic to an admiring crowd of diplomats, whom he enthralled with tales of the feats of wizardry of the Nord Archmage Shalador. He seemed 20 years younger, and I suddenly saw him as he must have been in his prime when he first came to the Imperial City to help found the Arcane University. Morian even introduced me to King Logrolf, though how he came to know the Monarch of Skyrim I have no idea. When I looked around for Diveth, he was nowhere to be seen. Morian and I stayed late at the embassy, quaffing mead and laughing at the Nord's hearty jokes. When we finally left and he walked me home, I thought I could see a new gleam in Morian's eye. He may have seen the same gleam in mine. So this is a fun little ongoing background story. A lot of the books in this game have little sort of world building and fun little narratives going on. If you read all the crafting motifs books, which, by the way, I'm sure most people that play this game don't bother to actually read the text of the motif books, they just open them and close them to get the crafting motif knowledge for their character. There's kind of a fun storyline about a love triangle between this ethnographer and then Diveth Fear, who's the famous, very old Dark Elf wizard, and then this other character, actually several other characters. So it's pretty fun to read these and sort of like follow along this bizarre love story, or sort of a flirtatious story between all these different characters hundreds of years ago. So that's Elder Scrolls lore for you, hidden in the strangest of places. Right, so speaking of things that are strange, we have no quest at all, but there's the first quest over there offered by Tuma Shah. Remember that we just got picked up here. We've woken up on the ship after... actually, we don't know yet how we got here, but we left Cold Harbor by flying into, essentially, a portal that the Prophet summoned. The Prophet is this mysterious, what's his name? As Cadwell puts it, Imperial gentleman who has apparently very powerful magic abilities and can talk directly to Akatosh, so that's pretty interesting. And with his help, we escaped Cold Harbor and the second tutorial and ended up here. So we better go and find out exactly where we are and what's going on. Obviously, the minimap does spoil sort of where we are, but we're going to find out in just a second in character. But we know that the Prophet isn't here. He said that he has appeared in a different place. I think he said a city of industry, something to that effect, so we can probably guess where that is. But for now, we're going to have to find our way out of this environment and begin our questing. So, off we go. Hello there, Fenlil. I guess we're going to magically know people's names without them telling us, which is just a UI inevitability.
Hungry?
I'm hungry for knowledge about where I am, but I suppose I can't buy that from you. We'll repair my items and sell some of the junk that I've got. Any merchant will buy any good from you, including this chef buying all the stuff I brought from Cold Harbor. Pretty bizarre, but I guess it's a nice convenience. Right, so another thing I realized is that in merchant menus, my face does cover the gold that I have. It's down here. It's just completely covered up. I'm trying to figure out, is there a screen somewhere where you can actually see my gold amount? Possibly not. My camera's a little bit too large, which is a shame. I currently have 572 gold for what that's worth. Suppose I could make my camera smaller, although I'd have to change it again whenever I record Imperator Rome. That could be annoying. I guess it's not that hard to do. Let me go ahead and give this a try here. Alright, let me unlock this. This should be fine to do right now. Let me just scroll it down. Actually, let me be talking to this guy so I have something as reference while I adjust this. There we go. So, slightly smaller Misadventurer. Hopefully you don't mind that so much. Now you can see just barely my visible gold there. That should solve the problem. And I'll just try to remember before I do another Imperator Rome recording to adjust it. I adjusted an Imperator Rome based on the map, so I have a nice visual for that one as well, so shouldn't be a problem. Let's talk to this Argonian here, Tuma Shah, see what they have to say.
The withered stalk flowers again. It is good to see you, alive and well.
How did I get here?
We found you floating in the water. I'd seen corpses with more life in them, but Captain Colleen dove in and fished you out anyway.
So she rescued me herself. Who is she?
The captain of this vessel. She's currently ashore, recruiting for our latest contract. You might want to pay your respects, seeing as she saved your life.
I'll go do that.
The withered stalk flowers again. It is good to see you, alive and well.
Where am I exactly?
You're on the Spearhead, Captain Colleen's ship.
Who are you? Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Just a
The
typo, or
withered
just a
stalk
mistake.
flowers again.
Try that again.
I am one of Captain Colleen's few remaining loyal crew members. The rest, well, the less said of those bloody-minded mutineers, the better.
Getting some information already. There was some sort of mutiny on this vessel, and it's led by someone named Captain Colleen. We don't really know much more than that. What is this? Nicolene's diary, private. Well, maybe we can find out some information from this. Hey you, whoever you are, this is private. Private! If you read it, I'll kill you, I swear. Knife you in the ribs while you sleep. 22nd of Sun's Height. Sailed into Davon's watch today. There were dark elves and Argonians everywhere. I asked Tumasha if she knew any of them, but she just shook her head. Davon's watch is crazy looking. The buildings are huge and strange. They all look like churches with spires and arches and such. I bet Brother Cantrell would love it. Nicoline has sketched one of the Dark Elf towers. It's quite good. She has a knack for architecture. I wonder what old Cantrell would do if he knew I was sailing with Captain Colleen. Ha! I bet he wouldn't approve. I kind of miss him, though. 28th of Sun's Height. We landed in Skywatch today. Captain Colleen took me ashore. I thought the Dark Elves were crazy, but the High Elves build like they want to prove something. You can't take 2 steps without seeing some crazy spire thing. They're nuts. Nicoline sketched a bunch of towers here all in a row. They might be made of crystal. Gallon pox, the High Elves are so snooty. I could tell the motherless sods didn't want to deal with the captain, but in 5 minutes she had them eating from her hand. She's amazing. I want to see more of the city, but the sodding elves are really picky about outsiders, so we had to stay on the docks. But we spent the whole day together. I took notes and carried her stuff. 4th of Last Seed. We got attacked. Master Kassan said it was a Dunmer slave ship. They had mages on the deck throwing giant fireballs at us. It was terrifying. One of the masts caught on fire, but Tumasha climbed up and put it out. The captain turned into the wind, laughing like it was all a game. They couldn't keep up. Mara, how did she do it? I was shaking so bad after. Kassan had told me horrible things about Dark Elf slavers. I think some of his family are still in Morrowind. I wonder if he misses them. Anyway, this is the best part. After we were safe, the captain saw me shaking and took me aside. She told me I was brave and did well. Then she hugged me. Hugged me! Mara, I'm still tingly. It felt so good. 8th Last Seed. As soon as we put to Daggerfall again, I'm going to take all my savings and buy some new clothes. Something nice and proper. Something the captain will like. I asked Tumasha if Colleen's ever been married. She just flicked her tongue at me, but I bet not. Colleen's too strong and independent to marry some stupid man. Just like me. Alright, well, we didn't learn a lot about what's going on with our situation, but we learned a lot about Nicoline's situation, that's for sure. Alright, here we are in Stros Mackay, famous setting of an often overlooked Elder Scrolls side game, and let's do a little bit of exploring. So, may as well just poke around the ship, see what we can find. Ah, there she is, Nicoline herself. Let's see what she has to say.
Watch what you track in here. This is Captain Colleen's cabin.
You work for Captain Colleen?
Why else would I be cleaning her cabin? I want it to be perfect when she comes back. Spotless. This whole mutiny was just a temporary setback. I'm sure of it. We'll sail again soon.
There was a mutiny.
Oh, Kine, yes. It was terrifying. Captain Colleen told the crew we were to stop raiding Breton galleons, and that's when it started. The crew went nuts. They tried to take over the ship.
But you stopped them.
Colleen did, with help from Lambert and Tumashine, and Master Kassan. They were amazing, so fast and strong. When it was over, Colleen ordered the traders off the ship, and good riddance.
What do you think of Captain Colleen? I mean, we know what she thinks, but I want to hear what she says.
She's amazing. She's smart, tough, and a real fighter. She's incredible with a sword, even for a Redguard who grow up using them. I've never met anyone like her.
How did you meet her?
Well, it's kind of embarrassing, but funny. I was living on the Wayrest docks, picking a few pockets here and there to get by. Then Colleen came walking by, with a huge bag of gold swinging from her belt.
And you tried to steal it.
I did steal it. She didn't even notice it was gone until I was halfway down the street. But boy, did she get after me. She can run. When she caught me, I thought I was dead, but she offered me a job. She was impressed.
So you joined her crew.
She said it was a good lift. Taking her purse, I mean. And offered me an apprenticeship. Sailing the seas, drinking and fighting, finding treasure. I love it. Captain Colleen's an incredible mentor.
Well, I think we've discovered what's going on with the ship. This sounds like a pirate ship to me. But I guess we should probably ask, just to be on the thorough side. What can you tell me about this ship?
The Spearhead's the fastest galleon on the seas. Master Cassan gave her to Captain Colleen when he retired. He taught her all she knows about the sea. Once the captain gets a new crew, we'll be off again. I
see. Well, we will depart and not loiter in this cabin. Alright, let's keep exploring around. Nothing up here. Well, nothing really. No sailing away. We came from below deck, so let's go check over here. Could be some more individuals we can meet and talk to, get some more information. Hello? Anybody here?
There's no end in sight.
Someone's here. I think that's too much below deck. Talking very loudly, and the noise is coming all the way up, apparently. Ah, that must be Master Cassan, the former owner of the ship, and Colleen's old mentor.
If you seek passage, know that this ship has no crew. Our captain is ashore recruiting.
What happened to the crew?
Mutiny. We saved the ship and those that live fled ashore. This one hopes they have the sense to stay away. If they return, Cassan's claws will taste blood once more.
You killed your previous crew?
They were not Cassan's crew. They belonged to Captain Colleen before they mutinied and tried to kill us all. Now they belong to no one.
What can you tell me about the captain?
Some call her the Dune Ripper's daughter, others the Forebear Witch. We, her loyal crew, call her Captain Colleen. She is a master sailor, though Cassan now wonders where her allegiance lies.
What do you mean?
There is a Forebear king and sentinel now, Vaharajat. He has allied himself with the Bretons and Orcs in this Daggerfall covenant. Cassan fears his apprentice thinks much of Vaharajat. Too much. A true sea rover has no such loyalties.
Captain Colleen was your apprentice.
Cassan taught Colleen much, though she is her own woman, strong and proud. Cassan is grateful to help her find her way. She is a worthy successor. All that was once Cassan's is now hers.
Who are you?
Master Cassan is but a humble sailor, though others will tell you stories. Some whisper the name Cassan Fiveclaw, terror of the seas. Yet these are stories for children. We have better things to do with our time, yes?
Interesting. Yeah, so you may wonder why I bother to talk to everybody. And at this early point in the game, a lot of the storytelling and world building is pretty straightforward, and you're not going to get a lot of deception going on, but having this habit is great if you really want to explore this world fully, which is the whole point of this entire project with me making this series for YouTube, is to showcase this entire setting. Because later on, especially in higher level zones or in sort of DLC and expansion zones, you're going to get situations where there's going to be a lot of people saying different things. And you sort of have to piece together the story and the world building from this environmental storytelling. You have to kind of get all the information to sort of draw your conclusions. It's often pretty subtle, and even here, there's sort of details and subtleties that if you just sort of scan over everything and don't really pay attention, you might miss. For example, Nicolene's, let's say, affection for Captain Colleen, which is not very subtle at all. Like, it's pretty easy to tell what's going on with that character. It's something that many people may not even know about because they never find that diary and they never really talk to her in the cabin and hear what she has to say about Colleen. So they just assume, oh, it's Colleen's cabin girl, and they don't really understand the relationship of these two characters. Anyways, let's disembark and see what's going on here in town. Hello there, sir.
Have you seen Captain Colleen? She's supposed to deliver some papers. and I'm getting very impatient.
Well, oh, hello there. Good dog. I have not seen Captain Clean, though I suppose I may. Let's also see if we can snag ourselves the rare fish while we're here. Many of the zones have... Do I have any... I do have worms. Let me do a little bit of fishing. Many of the zones have achievements for picking up the rare fish, and although generally it's probably better to wait until you're max level because you get some bonuses to fish catch rates, I always like, whenever I do these tutorial zones, to try and gamble for... that's enough with that note, I guess. Try and gamble for the rare fish when I have the chance to do a little bit of a... Let me go and grab some of this ore. Chance to do a little bit of fishing. It's a low chance, but if I can grab it, that saves me a lot of time later. Right. That's all of the stuff on here. Let's hop back over to the main section here, and we continue. Right, so first things first, let's go and investigate this central area of the town where the quest marker is pointing us.
I should be in Betnik visiting my people. Think, how will we get there without a crew?
Alright.
Look at that, Lambor. Our half-drowned friend is up and about. We weren't sure you'd make it.
You saved me?
Really? I just fished you out of the water. Master Kassan got you breathing again. The important thing is you're alive. But if you're feeling grateful, I could use some help.
Help with what?
A job. Anyone who helps is going to get rich. Right now, I need a fresh face. Someone this island's butcher-in-charge, Headman Bosek, doesn't know and won't stop. Basically, you recruit the folks I need, you get a cut of the take. Interested?
Alright, I'll help you.
3 folks I need are Crafty Larissa, Jakarn, and Naramo. Any or all of them would do.
Who's Crafty Larissa?
She's an old friend, captain of the Maiden's Breath. She's also a master of disguise. We can use that. The Sea Drakes use their lighthouse tricks to run her ship aground near Saintsport. Rescue her, and she might join us.
Who is Naramo?
Naramo's nice enough for an Altmer if you get past his Dwemer fixation. Thing is, the relics he finds in Dwemer ruins sometimes come in very handy. He just might have a device we can use for our heist.
A heist? Okay, well, I think she just revealed a bit of information she wasn't intending to reveal, so she's planning some sort of heist, and she's trying to gather a crew for that. What about Jakarn?
He's a thief, but he's the best there is. He'd be a big help in the heist I have planned.
Oh, there we go.
Problem is, he robbed Bosek. Nobody robs Bosek. He's been tossed into the grave under Bosek's palace.
I guess I'll look for Jakarn. How do I get to him? And by the way, the reason why clicking the button only puts the cursor on, it doesn't select it, is because this, you can see from the red, this basically progresses the quest and doesn't let you change what you decided earlier. Now, in this situation, all 3 of these people are people we're going to eventually recruit for the heist, but this gives you the option, as many quests in this game do, to kind of set your own goals for the quest of what you're trying to do and what your outcomes are. Here, the question is just between 3 possibilities, and you're going to get all 3 eventually, or you're supposed to get all 3 eventually. I'll look for Jakarn. How do I get to him?
There's an entrance off the river under the palace. Watch out for traps and the other prisoners. They're all murderers down there, the worst scum on the island. That's the grave. You can leave anytime you want, if you can get out alive.
So you're saying that you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. I think they made a song about this place. Alright, who runs Stros Makai? I guess we should probably figure that one out. I think she mentioned someone named Bosek, but we'll see what she says to this one.
Bloody Bosek,
There we
or
go.
Headman Bosek, as he calls himself now. He took over the palace years ago, killed the old ruler and took his place.
Doesn't anyone stand up to him?
Captain Helene, but she's worse than Bosek. Her Sea Drakes run Saintsport south of here, biggest band of murderers on the sea. Bosek and Helene tolerate each other. Neither's ready for a war, yet.
So you're saying that as the captain of what appears to be a pirate ship, you're casting aspersions on another pirate who runs a band of pirates, who you say is worse than essentially a warlord, who is essentially kind of like a pirate on land. That being said, I think that Quintus considering the scenario, does feel indebted to Colleen and Kassan because they rescued him from... I guess he was spawned in the water when he left Cold Harbor, and they just found him by chance, it seems. So, although Quintus is a little unsure about supporting what may be a very illegal scenario, if it's committing crimes against an already legally dubious warlord, how illegal could it really be, right? And either way, he owes these folks for his life, so he doesn't have to let a little thing like the concept of law stop him from helping out some of his possible new friends. And in his situation, he needs all the friends he can get, so putting what appears to be a very well-regarded pirate captain into his debt, perhaps, could be quite a handy thing for him. Again, we'll explain Quintus's whole backstory as we proceed here, but let's just say that he's not in the best of shape right now. He's been through some bad situations, and when he woke up in that Villainy prison cell with the elf, and sort of had been teleported there when that Daedra Shaezel invaded that island, he was rescued from quite a bad situation, so he's going to enjoy his freedom, and he's going to help out those that are going to, help him get his life back together here and get things back under control. So, having now stood here for several minutes thinking about all this, while Colleen looks at him weirdly, he's going to ask, where's the rest of your crew? I mean, he knows the answer, but he wants to hear everyone's different take about what happened with this mutiny.
Deserted the traitors. See, there's a fortune to be made from Breton galleons. Thing is, King Farharajad called for an end to it now that we're all part of the Daggerfall Covenant. Of course, as a loyal Redguard, I obeyed.
Now this is an interesting twist. This is something Kassan alluded to as well. Colleen is not just a pirate captain, she's a nationalistic pirate captain who's following the requirements of the new Daggerfall Covenant alliance as a... Well, okay, this is a slight plot hole because the Daggerfall Covenant isn't super new, and Colleen definitely shouldn't have just heard about it, but we're going to put that aside. If I commented every time any quest giver or NPC made implications about the timing of where we are in relation to the Covenant being founded, every single Covenant quest I'd be bringing this up, because this is it's a recurring favorite plot hole of the Daggerfall Covenant quest writers. So we'll just pretend that Colleen has been sailing in uncharted waters for a very long time and has somehow not heard about this until just recently, but we'll leave it at that. Anyways, I guess I should ask, who is King Farharajad? Incidentally, as an Imperial, it's completely possible that Quintus would not know who King Farharajad is offhand.
Ruler of the Redguard people, now king among equals in the Daggerfall Covenant. King Farharajad would have us raid the ships of our enemies, not our allies. There is wisdom in that.
Quintus thinks that is not an unfair thing to conclude about that. So your crew disagreed.
If by disagreed you mean tried to kill us, then yes. Bunch of bloody mutineers. Lambour, myself, and a few others ran them off the ship, but word spread. No one here wants to sail with a captain who won't raid Bretons.
Suppose that makes sense. Bretons, I mean, as an Imperial, he knows very well that Bretons have got the maritime power on this part of the continent, arguably really only matched by perhaps the Altmer in terms of presence on the seas, and the Malmer, for what that's worth, as well. And in a few thousand hours, whenever we play the Aldmeri Dominion tutorial island, we'll learn a lot more about the Malmer. But anyways, where can I get a drink around here?
The Screaming Mermaid's just up the road, and they've always got good rum. Just keep a grip on your coin purse, or you'll be a beggar by day's end.
See, now we know that Colleen is speaking from experience from when she met Nicolene, I think is her name. Anyways, anyone I should watch out for in the Screaming Mermaid?
Bosek's thugs, the bloody fists. Cross one, you cross them all, and Bosek will have your head on a pike faster than you can say, "Please, don't put my head on a pike." Also, the Sea Drakes will gut you if you enter Saintsport.
So this is why I wanted to make... I mean, this isn't the single reason, but this is one of the reasons I wanted to make this project. There's so much fun dialogue in this game, and people just skip through all the dialogue to do the quests to get to the end game, and there's so much character going on. in just a couple, like, sections of dialogue, we have such a vivid picture of what kind of character Captain Colleen is. And there's, I'm not kidding, there's like hundreds, if not thousands of characters in this game that have a similar level or more, like, detail and characterization to Captain Colleen. So I'm just always in awe at the amount of work that went into creating this game's, like, dialogue. Not even like the quest design, but the actual just dialogue and the storytelling. Let's see what Lambert has to say. It sounds like she may be, I think someone's mentioned Lambert. I don't remember actually if someone's mentioned Lambert yet, so let's see what she has to say about herself.
Speak to the captain. She's the one who likes to talk.
Right, in classic Lambert fashion, she doesn't have that much to say, but in case someone hasn't mentioned it yet, Lambert is the second in command of the ship, at least now that the mutiny has happened. There was a person in there, I believe. Let's go investigate that. There's lots of fun little world building. We've got a skeleton in this water cage. Who do we have here? Gadodar.
Hey, when's the next high tide?
I don't know, but hopefully not too soon. Sounds like looks like you've had some previous occupants here that have not survived the high tides. Well, we're getting a little sense of what kind of justice system Headman Bosek employs here in Port Hunding, the port city of Stros Mackay. Incidentally, here is a map of Port Hunding. We just walked over here, now we've come down here. There's the cage with the guy in it, and this is the full size of Stros Mackay. So, not a very large area at all, at least not compared to the main lands of this game, but it's definitely a nice little area to sort of start off our explorations. Let's continue trying to catch that, I think it's the Altheric grouper is the one that you can catch from these waters. I think I have 2 more worms, so I'm just going to give this a try and see if I pull it off or not. But hopefully everyone's enjoying this project so far. I don't know how many people, aside from me, would have enjoyed what's going to be a very slow-paced and dialogue-heavy MMO playthrough. This is probably not the sort of thing the average person would really want to sit down and watch, but especially if you aren't able to play this game, or you don't have a computer that can run it well enough, or you just don't really have the time, it can be really nice to watch someone do a playthrough like this and sort of see what's going on here. Bosek's punishments. Steal from Bosek, beheading. Okay, well, touch Bosek's girls, gelding, alright. Insult Bosek, 20 lashes. Don't pay taxes, the tide cage. Well, I think we know what happened to that guy. He didn't pay his taxes. Kill a fist, the grave. So that's where Jakarn is currently, so that tells us maybe what happened with him. Although I think Colleen said that he's a thief, so maybe... I don't know why he wouldn't be beheaded then. Whatever. Steal from a fist, hands cut off. Rat to the navy, tongue cut off. Now we learn... One thing I like, by the way, also rat to Helene is keel hauling. So we learn a lot about Bosek's kind of mysterious background with this one phrase, rat to the navy, because that suggests that Bosek may have come from the navy. Perhaps he was, in the past, a naval commander who ended up here and basically defected and became a warlord, because why would Bosek care about the Navy knowing about his behavior, if not for perhaps some connection to the Navy? And Bosek, I believe, is a Red Guard, so perhaps the Navy of Hammerfell, which is the Red Guard kingdom. A little unclear, but there is some interesting implication there. By the way, here's an example of one of the many random Imperials that just kind of live all over the place. Again, the Imperials are in a big diaspora right now, as Cyrodiil's in a bit of a chaotic situation. Hello there.
New to Port Hunding? Walk softly around the bloody fists.
Where am I?
Port Hunding, on the island of Stros Mackay. Have you struck your head? Long may you prosper, though perhaps elsewhere.
Alright. Love the sassy NPCs. These characters are basically to navigate you to the expansion pack, so I'm not going to talk to them as they appear in every different port area, so I don't need to deal with them at the minute. But let's continue searching around.
Progress is slow, but steady.
On top of the minis, there's actual guard characters walking around that keep the peace, and they will try to attack you or arrest you if you are caught stealing or pickpocketing. I'm not going to do any pickpocketing or stealing right now. I'm going to wait until after Betnik, when I have access to the Outlaws Refuge, to do any of that stuff. But there's also just a bunch of random NPCs that you don't even talk to. They're just kind of here for flavor. And NPCs that you can talk to for either purposes, or they're there for dialogue and whatnot. So let's continue investigating the area. We passed by a couple of people over here.
You're not one of Bosek's bloody fists. Lucky for you.
Seems like the townspeople don't particularly like Bosek, which I can't blame them for.
No, I'm not going to do your laundry too. Bug off.
What scenario led to this Altmer being like the island laundry doer? That must have been quite a tough life to be in that position.
I'm rather busy right now.
Thank goodness for the sea drakes. They may be bad people, but the wrecks they cause are great.
This whole island's just covered in opportunistic, pirate-like people, even if they're not all literally pirates. I suppose that's not too much of a surprise. Some fancy mounts people have earned from raids or bought from the Crown Store, one of the two. Hard to tell sometimes. Alright, we're just kind of getting a lay of the land here, seeing if we can discover any more interesting kernels about this island.
Can't you see I'm busy?
Right. Alright, so this is an example of a tutorial book. Not literally a gameplay tutorial book, but a book that explains how provisioning works. I'll read those books later on once we're doing the crafting stuff, but I don't want to bog down this already very long intro to this episode by reading all the tutorial books that are going to sit around everywhere.
Colleen's never getting off this island. No one's gonna sail with her ever again.
I think we may have found one of these mutineers based on how she's talking about Colleen. Very possibly. Let's go ahead and dismantle this Glyph of Health as well.
I'm positively enchanted to make your acquaintance. Get it? Oh, never mind. What do you need today?
Nothing from you is what I need.
Don't know why I bother. The fools sink these boats as fast as I fix them.
Very nice.
Alchemist, they call me. My dear traveler, I am no mere alchemist. I'm a miracle worker. What do you need?
Nothing right now, but thank you for the offer.
Yeah, at least we would earn.
Hello.
Dwemer devices are so poorly understood. I've been trying to get this sphere running for weeks. I suspect parts are still missing.
Is that so? Interesting.
Piss off! Find your own junk pile.
Oh my gosh. Got ourselves a a very fancy individual strutting around with the with whatever that walk cycle is. Yeah, some of the we're gonna encounter some characters with some very interesting appearances. Yeah, there he goes.
Thirsty traveler?
Alright. Yeah, so I'm not going to necessarily talk to every single NPC, just the ones that I remember being kind of interesting, but it is fun to sort of hear what everyone has to say. You could get some kind of fun little bits of dialogue here and there. Now, having explored over here, let's go to the other side of town and sort of see what's going on there. This is not the biggest town ever, so it shouldn't take too long to just do a little bit of exploring. We're going to leave town in a bit and start wandering the island and doing some quests, so may as well scope out the town while we're here. There's a whole little thing going on back here. There's a mud crab fighting ring. Interesting.
This one does not sail the seas for riches. Instead, the riches sail to him.
He's got his little system figured out, I suppose.
Kill him! Kill him!
Alright. I spot a alchemical ingredient we can pick up here.
Let's see some blood.
May as well. There's a little thing back here.
Don't tell the others. But maybe going back to Colleen would be better than sitting around here.
More mutineers, it seems. This guy maybe got injured. Or guy? Yeah, it's Dark Elf. It is a male Dark Elf, presumably. There's that Traina person sneaking around, doing some thievery. Watch out, the guards are nearby. Look at this little scenic area here. Oh, hello, I don't mean to block your view. What do we got here? A little bit of a romance. Great. Alright. This guy's got the whole arsenal of string instruments ready to go. Wow. What do you think about that?
I'd give my sword arm for him.
He's probably good with his fingers. I mean, if you watch out for the claws. Yeah, better be careful, lady.
Keep moving. I'm in no mood to chat.
Well, alright. Okay. Let's see what's down here by the river. There's the entrance to the grave, by the way, so we'll go in there in just a second. But first, I want to swing around. Hold on, I'm gonna go pick this up really quick. There's a sky shard. So sky shards are basically scattered all over the place in every zone. And again, whenever you pick up sets of 3 in total, and then it resets the count, you get another skill point. So sky shards become the main way that you get new skill points once you hit level 50, as getting champion points doesn't add to your skill point level, it just increases its own champion point system. So we want to keep our eyes peeled for sky shards for sure. Alright, what do we have here? Bloody Fist Barracks. We can't go in there without committing trespassing, so let's avoid that if we can. We have this crazy fountain thing. Anything interesting down here? You never know. There's sometimes little hidden stuff that's kind of fun to find. I always remember in Skyrim the skeletons floating in the water by the Whitereach palace in the pools on the stairs, and it's something that I can never forget just discovering, and there's just no clear idea what that means. They're just there, and since then I've always looked in these weird spots for unusual details. It's kind of fun. Really adds to the feeling that this is a living, breathing world.
Just keeping my fingers warm, friend. I'll be playing in the tavern later tonight.
And it's pretty warm. We're in a desert, but sure, if you say so. Quintus was in a desert before. He was stationed there.
What hope is there? No one knows my pain.
Alright, we got a despondent individual there. Alrighty. Let's go check out these corners of the town here. Let's pick up some more of this stuff. Did we talk to this person yet? Maybe not.
Buy me another bucket full.
Alright. A big goat. Very nice. Looks like we got ourselves a beacon. Is this their stand-in for a lighthouse? And there's an actual lighthouse out there, so I guess this is sort of doing the same job. Let's circle around here. So make sure to grab this maple. I'm gonna stop to gather ingredients whenever I can. That's just part of the, especially with ESO Plus, I have infinite ingredient space in my craft bag. So no reason not to, honestly. And it can be a little annoying because I'm going to double back and grab stuff that's respawned a lot of the time, but when I need to actually do some crafting, having all those extra resources piled up in my craft bag is certainly quite nice. Blessed Thistle's a little bit rare. I'm kind of glad to find that, honestly, and it's hard to see as well because it blends in with the grass. Also, here's an example of a player house. Players can buy the icon on the compass up above, where it's the house icon. These are buyable houses, buyable either with in-game gold or with microtransaction crown points. This is Hunding's Palatial. I'll show it to you. Hunding's Palatial Hall. This is one of the larger houses, and if you want to sort of have a Redguard style, this is Redguard architecture, a Redguard style palace on an island. This is the house for you. So you can do a lot of crazy decorating in a place like this. But obviously, I'll show you the cost here. It's 1,295, or sorry, 1,295 gold, and it requires the Glenumbra Adventurer achievement, which is just do I think either all the quests in Glenumbra or like most of the quests in Glenumbra. Which Glenumbra is the first full zone we do, so that's not going to be too hard to get. Or you buy it for 6,500 crowns, which would equal, I think, roughly I think this is about $50 or $60, something like that, in real-world money, so it's pretty expensive if you want to buy it with crowns. I'm going to try my best to not really spend my crowns on anything that I can also buy with gold. A lot of stuff that I will use later in the playthrough, like changing Cascus' appearance as time progresses, which is something I want to do with him, will require using tokens you can only get with crowns, so I'm going to save my crowns for that. As an ESO Plus member, I have I get crowns every so often. I don't remember how often it happens, but I do get crowns occasionally from my membership that I can save up for these purposes. And then certain player houses can only be bought with crowns. These are typically really extravagant player houses that are only available for a limited time. This game has a lot of monetization, but it's also an online MMO game, so it's kind of a different standard for what's appropriate or not compared to a single-player game. I'm pretty okay with online games having monetization. They have to pay a lot of money to keep these games going, and ultimately, you know, there's something kind of miraculous about a game of this size running continuously for, at this point, nearly 10 years. So if the cost of this game continuing to receive pretty frequent and pretty consistent support from ZeniMax is the heavy monetization, I'm okay with that, honestly, because you can choose not to engage with it. In most people's opinion with this game, the sort of purchasable stuff generally doesn't create any sort of gameplay imbalance. Obviously, you know, you could argue that buying a bigger house is an advantage, but nothing that when it comes to the core kind of combat and whatnot, certain classes are only purchasable unless you buy them, or unless you get them through the expansion, but anyone that's an ESO Plus member gets all the stuff that would affect gameplay, and it's only the sort of cosmetic stuff like houses that you can buy with real money. How do I get down to this guy? I guess I'm going to just hop down. I don't like to do jumping when I'm moving around. I like to sort of follow. In my mind, I think of it like, if an NPC was moving around, how would they path? But here, I don't know of a way down. I guess this is technically... I have to jump to get back up. That's fine. Let's go see what this guy has to say.
Bounty of the sea nourishes my family. Early word of approaching ships brings coin from Headman Bosek as well.
Interesting. So Bosek is actually so concerned about ships approaching that he pays people to tell him that there's ships coming. Learning a lot about this guy, just from context clues, from dialogue most people would never think to even look at. Alright, up we go. Hello there.
Careful. Bosek's fists. Watch strangers closely. Step out of line and you'll get beaten.
Yeah, that seems to be the, something I've heard from quite a few people. You okay there?
Did you come with my tonic water?
I did not, but it seems like you were going to need that. Yeah, stomach aches are no joke. That's a shame. We can't actually go up here. Ah, here we are. It's not exactly a very functioning lighthouse, but it could work as a lighthouse if they wanted it to. Now we could steal from the stuff up here pretty freely because there's nobody up here to spot me. I guess I will check the backpack out of curiosity. Yeah, 40 gold is the standard value for a stealable item. No need to bother with it though, it's just going to take up inventory space. And I'm not in a position to sell anything that I steal until I get to Daggerfall, so I'm just going to wait on that. There's no huge rush. If I was trying to play this, you know, min-maxy, I would, because there's daily limits to how much you can sell defenses, and you have to sell stolen goods defenses in particular. And I could hit my limit every day, even before I'm in Daggerfall regularly, but it's going to be too hard to do with the structure of this series.
How can I help you, friend?
Everything else I want to sell. Not really. Let's investigate this area
Can't
here.
you see I'm busy?
Give ourselves a stable hand. Hello there.
Careful.
Oh, we actually talked to you already. That's gonna happen sometimes. Let's check out the Screaming Mermaid. See what's going on in here. This is quite the inn. This is Redguard architecture at its finest, with a dome and everything.
No.
Hello, Yerky.
You look tired. The best beds in all of Port Hunding are right upstairs.
Alright, well that's a classic fantasy game trope. We're here in the inn. What's this? Meat for soup. Lizard crunchy. or rather crusty, mud crab, tasty, jackal, gamey, rat, good for snacks, not soup, goblin, nasty, don't eat. Someone took one for the team to make that list. Holy moly.
Yeah, what'll it be?
I don't think I need to, I'm just sort of fishing for interesting comments from people. I know this may seem a little bit boring, but this is something that, this is like the Elder Scrolls experience, is talking to random NPCs.
Colleen's still hiding behind Lambeau, eh? If I catch her alone, I'll suck her eyeballs out.
I think we found ourselves another mutineer. I like how, by the way, you can basically discover that there's a bunch of mutineers just around Port Hunding, chilling and besmirching Colleen when you talk to them. It's a fun detail that you may not have ever thought to look at. Alright. Hello, Zacchaeus.
No way. We're drinking here.
Alright. Well, I mean, if I had a name like Zacchaeus, I'd be drinking too. Hello, Serena.
Well, you're a notch above our usual clientele. Make yourself at home.
I see my powerful fashion does make an impression. I'm just walking around with the sleeveless armor and the full helmet just on my face. No need for eye contact. I'm making it work. Take a look at that later.
Welcome. What will you have?
By the way, I like the very subtle detail that there's a bunch of Dwemer machinery sort of tucked away all throughout this whole building. Basically, they're using the Dwemer stuff to help them like make all their food and whatnot. It's a fun detail, but it's very subtle. Hello, Dirty Delric.
Whatever it is, I didn't do it.
That's not. I suppose I should. I don't know what else I would have expected to hear from a character called Dirty Delric. Reminds me of that reminds me. Here's a bizarre comparison. That name reminds me of Daddy Derek from Cool Cat Saves the Kids. Remember that one? Breton body. A slit throat marks the end of this Breton's adventures in the exciting city of Port Hunding. The backpack next to the body has been emptied. Well, that's a little ominous. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised that under the reign of the evidently very just Hedman Bosek, that people are getting murdered in the corners of balconies and no one's bothering to clean up the body. Seems like Port Hunding isn't exactly in the best of shape, but I suppose the people here are just okay with that in all actuality.
Nothing like a good book, is there? And this is nothing like one, I'm afraid.
And she just goes right back to reading. Now that's a Chad move. This book sucks. Just immediately returning to the book. No fucks given. Alright, Bluga, go off, queen. Hello, Grubalash.
Don't want any. Stop bothering.
More book reading orcs. Love that.
Don't bother Grubulash. She's obsessed when researching.
Oof. Should have talked to this guy first, and we would have known not to mess with her. That's good to know. Hey there. An elegantly penned letter. Well, don't mind if I take a peek. Dearest Gibril, I'm leaving the island. Please don't try to follow me. I will always think fondly of our time together, but we travel different paths. King Faharajat has called for loyal sons and daughters of Alakir. The Daggerfall Covenant offers a chance to spread beyond the desert, to truly influence world affairs. If he will have me, I will sail with his navy. That is the life I have always dreamed. You see now why I write you. If you truly care for me, retire from this life. Find an honest occupation. Think of me fondly, but do not pine for what we had. I will always care for you, Gibril. But if our navy comes upon your ship preying on Covenant vessels, if my captain asks me to put her crew to the sword, I will not hesitate. I will put a sword through you. Honor demands no less. May you come safely to your journey's end. Romina. See, look at this, right? This one letter has such a powerful little story hidden away that has so much emotion packed within a couple paragraphs, and it's in the top floor of this inn, which 90% of players will never come up here to explore. This is the whole reason I'm doing this entire playthrough, is to show off writing like that. It's not game-changing, unfathomably amazing writing, but it's consistent, quality, impactful writing that really builds out the setting here, right? We've seen a couple examples just in this episode of this concept of the world building of the setting, where lots of Redguard in a culture that has a lot of people turning to piracy because they're living in like an arid climate without a lot of access to other opportunities are being called to this forming of the Covenant, and Faharajad, you know, demanding all loyal Red Guards join up with the sort of unified Covenant forces. And we're seeing how this is affecting characters like Colleen. It's affected the character that wrote that letter. Interesting stuff, right? Definitely interesting stuff. All right, what's going on back here? Hello, Jabril.
Sorry, enough troubles of my own right now. Can't deal with any of yours.
All right. Well, excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt whatever you were doing. All right. Actually, I think this is a book that reappears later, so I'm gonna look at that later.
No, it's not.
Enjoying port hunding? It's a fine place until you get your throat slit.
So that's a suspicious thing to say, given that there is a Breton body with their throat slit on the balcony just over there. I think that Wood Elf maybe knows something.
You don't know nothing.
Alright, let's go check out the outside. I don't think there's anything out here, but never hurts to check. Could be some interesting lore, perhaps? I don't see anything over on that side, but let me just go give it a look to be thorough. Alright, anything out here? Nope. Alright, I think we're good just to go ahead and make ourselves fall down like this. There we go, nice safe roll at the bottom. Cut some wood nearby. What is going on over here? Heartwood Harvester, very good. Any treasure chests down here? I don't see anything. There's often treasure chests hidden away in the corners of places, so you always want to check thoroughly. Hold on. Spotted. The jute. Must retrieve. Bast Harvester. Stendar's voice. Oh, I think we just interrupted some sort of religious thing, so let's tactfully step away from the pulpit. These guys are all praying to that person. Interesting. Got ourselves a destroyed caravan right next to town. That's a good sign. Great work, hunting guards. Putting in the effort, I see. Alright. Now let's go check out the sort of merchant square, and then we'll begin actually questing in this RPG game.
So hungry.
Here we've got the port hunting bag merchant. This one is named Rielineth.
Need a bag? I have a sack, knapsack, backpack, or satchel. You will find none finer.
Do we have enough? 2,000? Oh my gosh, we do not have enough. Hello. Yeah, that's a cool character. Look at that. Wow, that's champion point level 1873. This is an absolute badass. Take a look at this character. Can I inspect? Is that possible in this game? No, of course not. Still, just oh my gosh! Look! Oh, look at that! she's actually changing her her skin appearance as we're looking at her. That's crazy. All right, armored forge. Let's keep checking around here. Also, by the way, I'm not paying attention to the chat on the bottom left, so if there's anyone saying anything inappropriate, I am not in charge of that. I have no power to filter that, really, so just don't watch that or don't pay attention to that if that is happening. Probably not. Most people who play this game are generally pretty mature, but you never know.
Joyful day, no wayfarer, that the waters of Magicka flow freely from these robes.
It's an interesting pitch, but I'm going to decline. Walks with pride.
Step right up. No need to wait. I can put you in a fine suit of armor before the grass waves in the afternoon breeze.
Bold claim for an island that doesn't really have much grass, but sure.
In Port Hunding, the wise look for protection against the blades of the bloody fists.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. All right, and then I'm just gonna sort of snoop around in the back. Don't mind me. I'm not stealing anything, not yet, but I'm just looking around here. Oh, who's this? Imtitha.
Peace to you, wayfarer, but I have naught to sell. Speak with my mother below.
All right. Forge balcony. Oh, hold on. I have no dialogue from you. What's this over here? This is the upper part of the Bloody Fist barracks. Well, we better not go in there. We'll get killed probably on sight. based on the reputation of the Bloody Fists. Alright, down we go. Let's check out the Merchant Square. And we can probably, what's the word, dismantle, deconstruct some of our goods here. Do some researching. Anything to get rid of here. Also, whenever you do any crafting stuff, you take your helmet off by default, so that's what's going on there. Alright, let's just dismantle or deconstruct all this stuff here. Get some resources back, but nothing too crazy. Hello, Incien Falbert. That's a Brett name if I've ever heard one.
War's coming, friend. That's bad news for soldiers, but it's plenty of business for crafters like us who make weapons and armor.
I suppose that's true. I don't know if the war is going to come to Stros Makai too much, but I suppose it could. Hello, Zelia.
It's dangerous out there. Goblins, pirates, and beasts. What I've got here will keep you safe.
Okay.
Need a weapon? These red guards love swords, but I sell all varieties.
They love curved swords, I hear. I suppose that seems to be true. Mystic.
How can I help you?
I may actually want to buy some empty soul gems. I suppose I probably should. I might pick up a few, but it never hurts to have some soul gems. I don't think I need to save any money right now, so let's just pick up some empty soul gems. You can see I have 22 gold now. In the early game, we're going to have a lot of gold problems, but once we finish Betnik, I'll probably have enough gold to basically be able to keep up with my regular gold needs. Early on, we're going to have to save a bit, but in this game, you don't really spend anywhere near as much gold as you're getting if you're just questing. Upkeeping your equipment is really not that expensive. And really in this game, you're mostly just always saving gold for big purchases of stuff from guild traders or, buying a house with gold, which I will want to save to do. I'm going to buy a house in Wayrest. I'm probably going to have to save for the entirety of the Daggerfall storyline to be able to afford that. It's going to be, I think, 100,000 or something gold, maybe more. Whatever the case, let's talk to this clothier.
Sturdy, eye-catching clothes are a must for any true privateer. You could buy some from the scoundrels here in town, but isn't it more satisfying to make your own?
I love this high elf is like, you want to be a pirate? You got to dress right to do that. All right. Hello, Lurganash Grow Dugronk.
Port Hunding's a place for honest merchants, you know. And honest merchants trust me to keep their goods under lock and key. So they don't get stolen.
If you say so. So all the banks in the game are connected together. It's all just one kind of bank system that you can access. So we can deposit some stuff here. I'm going to deposit all the potions I got from my... Did I get rid of these, actually? Hold on. I thought that I did this off camera, but I guess I forgot to. I'm going to go ahead and turn these into crowns, just because I don't need these items at all right now. Other than that... Yeah, the rest we're going to interact with. Give me just a sec to do this. Crack open the wet gunny sack. Ooh, that's kind of a good find. Getting crafting stuff like that from picking up a sack from fishing is not that common, so I'll take that for sure. Works for me. Just going to go ahead and turn that into just a fish. What am I trying to say? Turn that into... yeah, just fish. I mean, you can see it on the screen now. Now that my camera's been made smaller, some of the loot popping up at the bottom right you can actually spot. Hello, Cheadlegaw.
A fortunate tide brings you to my stall, traveler.
Alright. And male Ancient.
You want to know a secret? I'm a terrible woodworker. Can't plane a board to save my life. But you know what they say? Those who can do, those who can't sell.
It's like looking in a mirror, like this is the hairstyle I'm going to have within 10 years. Yeah, I'm on the way there. It's alright. Being a lawyer, having a bit of balding only makes me look more distinguished. That's what I tell myself through the tears every night. But I'm not going to be, hopefully, this dire so soon. Oh well. I am not getting hired by clients for my hairstyle, I hope, so can't be too big of a deal. Right. Self-pitying jokes aside, anything else? Boarding house is locked. Interesting. You'd think that'd be open, but I suppose this is where people are living. Anything interesting up here? Not really. We could go into the palace, but it's mostly closed off right now. We're going to go there later, so I'm just going to check that out in the future. A call to action. A call to action. Goblins infest the caves to our north. They slip into town in the night and steal food, livestock, even people. Turn your blades on the foul goblins and you will be rewarded. Headman Bosick will soon offer a bounty for slain goblins. This is your chance for riches. Addendum. Please do not ask Headman Bosick about the bounty. When it is ready, we will spread the word, says Scribe Nicolard. Graffiti is scrawled beneath the notice. Killed goblins for years, but never been paid. Demand a reward or lose your fingers. That note was signed by Fingerless Fred, incidentally. Just kidding. I don't think that's the name of the character. In fact, I'm completely sure that's not the name of the character, because I just made up that name right now. So, actually, I think I do know who the character is that wrote that, but I don't remember their name. We will meet them later. Alright, I think we have thoroughly explored this town. Although first, let's go back and actually finish what I was trying to do a second ago, and finish deconstructing some of our other goods. I think we need to do I need to research the bow that I have, so let's run on over to the woodworking station. Here we go. I actually have 2 bows to research. I guess they're both training, so I'll just research one, then I'll deconstruct the other. I can't deconstruct it because it's a tutorial bow. Alright, I can actually just go ahead and sell it, because I can't deconstruct it, and I won't be able to research it now. Yeah, he needs to stop lowering his head towards me. It's giving me a sad insight into my future. Alright, so we're going to save the jewelry, because there's no jewelry crafting station on the tutorial islands. We'll wait until we get to Daggerfall, where we can find one. And then I can dismantle that at the clothing station. Alright, this one we might be able to actually go ahead and research. Looks like it. Alright. There we go. And now I can go over, this is going to require me to go over to ground crates.
Well met. And
okay, gem extraction, here we go. So I thought I did this off camera, but I guess it didn't register or something. Wait, did I get these? No, I already have crowns, so it must... Is this another set of these? Where did I get these things from? Oh, I got them from the crate. That's right. Okay, never mind. I do know where I got this from. Because I got 2 crates. I did one of those crates off camera, and I did the other crate earlier before I started recording, and I forgot that I got all those extra things. So, okay, mystery solved. Everything's fine. Nope, that did not mean to open you up again.
Goodbye, my friend.
There we go. What I was trying to do was go over to my quests. Alright, so enter the grave. So, I think we're ready to go ahead and start actually doing some questing in this MMORPG. Now that we've done an hour of exploring the town, something I don't think anyone's ever probably done on YouTube, but if you have ever wanted to get a thorough, hello wolves, a thorough examination of Port Hunding and see what everyone has to say, there you go. That's going to be a recurring feature of this playthrough. I want to fully explore the entire world here, and it's going to be a fun exploratory journey. I'm not going to necessarily look in every nook and cranny in the wilderness, but in the towns I can definitely talk to everybody and see what's going on. This body has multiple stab wounds and several blunt impact wounds. It's been stripped of anything valuable. Alright. This guy's doing some RP walking. Very cool. What's my hotkey for that? No, not that one. There we go. Have it set to caps lock, so I can do some roleplay appropriate slow walking if needed. That's the... Remember, we picked up 1 Sky Shard at the end of the Cold Harbor tutorial, the second tutorial. So now we have 2 of 3, and there's 2 more on this island. Alright, here's the entrance to the grave. Looks like we got ourselves someone standing at the ready. Hello, Irian.
My poor Jakarn. I don't want to think about what they're doing to him down there. He's a prince. He doesn't belong in the grave.
You said Jakarn is a prince? That's not what I've heard.
Yes, from Westry. How I long to travel there with him. He described it as bright, beautiful, and full of life.
My lady, I think you may have been... Look at her smiling at me. I think Jakarn... I'm not going to say this to her, obviously, in game, but Quintus is thinking, I think this Jakarn fellow may have overstated his nobility to this lady. Probably to get a little bit of access to her Somerset Isle, let's just say. It's often closed to travelers, so you gotta do a lot to get access to it. That's a convoluted lore reference. Anyways, why do they call it the grave? I wonder if she would know this.
It's beneath the palace, and anyone thrown in dies there. Jakan said the guards are brutal, and the other prisoners are worse.
Can't he escape?
Traps, guards, and other prisoners prevent that. Jakan said there are rows and rows of traps, and everyone down there, except for Jakan, is a vicious murderer. No one's ever gotten out. My poor Jakan.
Poor Jakan indeed. Aren't you worried about ruining your dress, standing in the water?
What kind of a question is that? My true love has been cast into a dark pit to die. If I thought I could get past the traps, I would go in after him. I can always buy another dress.
That's a fair answer, I suppose. Alright, let's head on into the grave and see if we can rescue Prince Jakarn, as he has allegedly been declared by this perhaps misled high elf lady. Alright, so here's an example of a interior dungeon area, and a big feature of these areas is a lot of lootable crates, and we're going to be looting every single one of them. Again, it's just another part of the resource gathering I'm doing. This is mostly provisioning resources, which do often involve many copies to make anything in provisioning, so I'm just going to sort of hustle around and loot everything. In between combat sections, I'll sort of run back and loot. In this game, because it's an online game, the respawn rate is pretty quick, so usually within a minute or so in areas like this that are basically sort of public sort of dungeon areas, although this isn't technically a public dungeon, that's a technical thing in this game, but sort of underground or kind of areas separated by a load screen, but they're still like people can run through them without being in an instance. The respawn rate's very fast. In an instanced, regular dungeon, there's actually, different respawn rules, but here, sort of like the Overland, the respawn rates are pretty quick because people are running through here basically all the time. So we're just gonna... There's a lot of people here right now. Also, if you're wondering who these companions you may keep seeing are, that's a feature that was introduced in the Blackwood expansion pack, which is the one before High Isle, which was the one before Necrom, which is the one that we currently have. And I thought about doing the content of the expansions out of order to get access to companions sooner, because they very much are designed to help someone play through the game who's playing solo and questing. That's where they can sort of like provide additional sort of group support that you would not normally get as a solo player. But, and this is the honest truth, I find this game's questing already very much on the easy side, and a companion would make this much easier. And I don't really want to do the content out of order anyways, so I'm just going to not bother with the companions until it's a mechanic introduced to me kind of in the content that I'm doing at that point, which is to say Blackwood and onwards. But I will explore those mechanics once I get to them. Also, I don't think I should have picked that up. It's probably no value. Yep. I mean, one is technically value, but 1 gold is not worth an inventory slot to hold on. So I'm just gonna kill this rat to grab some guts. Always good to have. Oh, hello. We got ourselves a little battle here. We actually use our skull ability through our shield. Check this out. I don't lower my shield. You can see the graphic stays up there, so I can use the skull ability quite defensively. Ooh, that is going to be something to research for me. Very nice. Roast venison. Let's learn that as well. Yeah, what was I saying earlier? Yeah, basically the companion system I'm going to interact with once I get there in the flow chart of content to do. There's a lot of playthrough ahead of us here. This is going to be a long road, but I'm very excited to go down this road with you all. I've wanted to do a project like this, I'll be honest, for years, and until recently I never thought I had the kind of ability to pull this off, but honestly, I wanted to get back into ESO, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to, I've got a channel where there's a couple hundred subscribers, and enough people are going to be interested to make it a worthwhile series to commit to. Honestly, even if 10 people watch the entire Cascus playthrough, that's still going to be worth it for me. Even if no people watch it, I still enjoy making it, So, yeah, but probably there's going to be more than 10 people watching, I would hope. And I know that this is, you know, I'm a niche channel in many ways, and this is another niche project like my Imperator Rome content. But if even one person watches this and says, you know what, this game looks pretty fun, I'm going to try ESO, I think that's great, because I think this is a great game that is often overlooked. I think people just assume it's kind of an uninteresting and kind of, you know, unexciting MMO, which in many ways, arguably, it might be compared to flashier, newer MMOs, like the Final Fantasy MMO has a lot more kind of innovative ideas. But what this game has that other MMOs don't consistently pull off is really good, really grounded storytelling. Like I've said before, you know, my main thing that I like about this game is the writing and the storytelling, which is an Elder Scrolls, you know, it's an Elder Scrolls concept, or it's like an Elder Scrolls, what am I trying to say? It's a recurring thing for the Elder Scrolls franchise. It's like an Elder Scrolls tradition to have good world building and interesting writing. And this, I feel like, does fall within that in a really great way. And that's why I wish that more people who really love the Elder Scrolls franchise took this game seriously as a part of that franchise. I think that of the things that I've seen in this game, especially later on, I mean, we're just in the opening areas where things are relatively straightforward. There's some really genuinely interesting concepts that are explored in the writing of this game. And this is an MMORPG. Like, this is not a genre typically known for its big focus on storytelling over, you know, spectacle and group content. And I really like that part of this game, especially because it's accessible to a lot of solo players like myself. And this game's core gameplay is not hard enough to normally require you to go out in a group questing and whatnot. But part of why I wanted to play as a Necromancer is that they have a more complicated gameplay style, and it is going to make it a harder experience, but more satisfying to master. Plus the restrictions on many of your abilities, especially those that summon like the undead directly, being criminal acts, that's something you have to pay attention to. So you have to hide your powers from the guards. Anyways, here's Jakarn. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, you're not a guard. You have to help me.
Captain Colleen sent me. She needs your help with the heist.
Well, that's perfect. Get me out of here and I'm at your service. You'll find me a man of many talents.
By the way, something that helps with this game's focus on scaling, where everything in the game scales with you, all quests reward you with the same amount of money for each level. So at level, I think I'm level 5 right now, so every quest should reward me with around this much money if it's like a normal quest, not just a kind of like a message quest where you're sort of getting started with the quest line. So this is what would count as a substantive quest. And once you're at max level, again, every quest you're doing rewards you with that same increased amount of money that's for level 50. So questing is actually a pretty consistent way to make money, which I really, really like in this game. Many MMOs...
if I found a handsome guy locked in a cell, I'd free him.
Well, if you let me know... If I see any, I'll let you know. Hey, that was mean. Sorry, Jakarn. I'm actually looking for Jakarn, the Prince of Westry, so if you're not him... Yeah, sorry, buddy. Justice for Irian is what I should say here, but whatever the case... what was I saying? I like that this game does incentivize doing these quests, because if you're trying to make money, which is a big part of the endgame here for accessing things like player housing, doing a lot of quests is actually a consistent way to do it. I mean, it's not the fastest way possible, but it's better than many other MMOs where questing, it just feels like something they have you do because it's the tradition for the franchise, or for the genre. Anyways, did you really steal a gem from Headman Bozek?
Is that really important right now? Sure, I took that gem, but he took it from some poor merchant. Tossed him in here to die. Can't steal from a thief, can you?
Also, this is an example of the camera with my add-on being a bit goofy. Jakarn is drowning in the non-opacity background of the dialogue box. I may want to turn off that black background. I don't know how helpful that is. It might help on YouTube, especially with the compression to read everything, but we'll see if it becomes too goofy later on. All right, I'll get you out. Hello.
I owe you for this. Thanks. Now, let's get out of here.
All right. And when he says, follow me, what he's going to do is actually disappear, and we have to catch up with him later.
What?
This game doesn't...
You first.
There he is. This game doesn't typically have, like, escort quests. Like, that's not really... Thankfully, that's not really part of this game normally. So, Jakar just goes ahead of us. We're going to fight our way back out. Many areas, not this area, but many areas do actually have sort of a circular design, so you don't really ever have to backtrack like this. This is not the best example of how this game's areas are typically designed. Pull it off there. There we go. 7 gold. There's that. Alright. Just power through here. And there's not a lot of difficult combat around in this area. Something to note, by the way, is that in my experience, the early game areas are pretty crowded with players, but as you progress through, especially to the later zones of the main storyline, they tend to be pretty empty, so it's going to be harder as well because there's more enemies you have to actually fight through without other players clearing the way or whatnot. Alright. So yeah, these traps were really dangerous. Definitely very difficult to maneuver around them. No way anyone could get out with these traps.
We can't go that way.
Why not?
Irians out there. Oh, and guards. I saw many, many guards. Look, let's slip out a side exit. That way we can both keep our heads.
Yeah, sure. Alright. I have a feeling Jakar knows exactly what he was doing with our Eltmer friend. Well, I'm sure he'll get his comeuppance eventually. Also, I do have some skill points. I actually didn't do this earlier. Totally forgot. But that's alright, because I just got this stuff all leveled up, so this is perfect. So, what you can do... I'll show... This is a good example to show this, actually. So once something hits level 4 and it completely fills out, it basically hits level 5, although it's just displays that it's 4 with the whole thing filled out. You can morph it, and every skill in the game that's an active skill has 2 morphs. And these are basically the endgame versions of the skill, and each morph typically changes the way the skill works. So, Flaming Skull, this is the skull that I throw every third one, is larger and more powerful. We've seen this for a long time in this playthrough already. There's 2 options here. One of them is Venom Skull. This transforms this into a stamina ability, so now it costs stamina, not magicka. Also, and you can actually see the full effect is listed in kind of the beige color, but then the new effect of this morph is in green, which is really helpful. It helps you understand what's being changed. So, converts her stamina ability and deals poison damage. Casting any Necromancer ability counts towards the 3rd cast, so I don't have to cast 3 Venom Skulls to get the boost. I can cast 2 Necromancer abilities of any sort, and then cast the Venom Skull to get the boosted Venom Skull. Of course, you can also cast Venom Skull 3 times to get it, but any ability would count. So this is a pretty solid morph for a damage build. This one here, Ricochet Skull, the 3rd cast will bounce to other nearby enemies, but otherwise it's the same kind of thing. It's still magicka damage, similar damage. Actually, I think it's slightly higher damage as well, but bounces up to 2 times, so this is great for fighting in groups. That's an example of how these morphs work. I'll eventually, once I am leveling all of my abilities, I'll read all the morphs that I'm dealing with, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and for all 3 of these categories, get the next 3 abilities, just so again I'm leveling all of them simultaneously. So we're going to go for Blast Bones. Now this is marked as a criminal act because you're summoning a skeleton from the ground. So this is some actual necromancy, and this is illegal in Tamriel at this point. We haven't really seen much yet, but especially in the Daggerfall Covenant storyline, there's a lot of stories about necromancers being illegal and necromancy being very much frowned upon. So as a necromancer, Cascus is having to kind of be a bit discreet about what kind of power he's using. Obviously these other abilities look like necromancer abilities, but stuff like summoning a skeleton is considered a criminal act like stealing, so we have to be careful about using this in front of townspeople in sort of the wilderness or in areas where it's like lots of enemies. This is probably not going to get reported because obviously bandits don't like count for seeing your crimes, but if we're fighting an enemy in a town, like someone spawns or there's like an attack in the town, we have to be really precise about when to use this ability, among other necromancer abilities like Skeletal Mage, for example. But anyways, summon a flaming skeleton from the ground after 2.5 seconds, so there's a wind-up where it gets spawned. The skeleton runs after the target and explodes when it gets close to them, dealing 6,000 flame damage to all enemies nearby. So that's a 6,000 flame damage explosion to everyone in a 6-meter radius. You can see from the tooltip there. Notice the comparison with this ability. This was 3.7k for just the basic skull. So this is slower to use. There's this 2.5 second wind-up time, and then it has to run over to the target. So if you're far away, the skeleton has to run quite a distance. But the explosion is 6k damage to everyone that's hit. So this is great for damaging a big group, and we are going to put it on the bar and start leveling it. As for this next one, we're going to replace that scythe for now with bone armor. Wrap yourself in hardened bone, granting you major resolve, increasing your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,948 for 17 seconds. Also creates a corpse when the effect completes. Corpse creation is an interesting part of the Necromancer meta. I'll talk about that more in the future. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this over onto this one here, because this is a 17-second armor boost, so we'll have that on the bar. Lastly is Expunge. This costs 2,000 health to do. Embrace the power of death, removing up to 2 negative effects from yourself. While slotted, the cost of all your abilities is reduced by 3%. So, not super useful at the minute with our current build, but I'm just putting it on the bar to level it, not so much because I plan to use it super often. So, that's the situation. Also, by the way, the armor looks like this. Oops. Nope. Okay, well, that's the blast bone. I clicked the wrong button there. Yeah, so I used the blast bone to blow up the rat. Sorry, rat, that was a bit excessive. Where's my... Oh, there. Anyways, this is the bone armor. You can see it's wrapping around me. Very cool. Looks very necromantic. Now let's remember, this stuff here isn't criminal, but this ability, the blast bones, is a criminal act. So we have to be a bit careful about summoning the skeleton in the wrong scenario. That could be quite bad. All right.
Thanks for breaking me out back there. Listen, while you're in a heroic mood, want to help me get something I left with the goblins?
You gave something to the goblins?
I figure if you want something kept safe, give it to the goblins. They'll watch it for free. They're too stupid to trade it, and they'll kill anyone who tries to take it.
It's not a bad way to look at it, I suppose. Won't they kill you if you try to take it?
Here's the thing. You went through a lot of trouble to free me, right? There's no way you'll let me get eaten by goblins. So you, my good friend, will follow me to their mine. Yeah?
Well, when you put it like that, I suppose I've got to come with you. Although first, there's a quest back here I don't want to miss.
Why did Zet make this place such a desert? The horse's troughs never remain filled.
Right. So, here's a guard who would arrest me on sight if I used blast bones in their vicinity, so we'll have to be careful. One way to know when it's safe to use a criminal ability, hello Jakaran whispering to me from far away, is NPCs that have a yellow health bar means that they are kind of a generic NPC, and they're going to always report crimes that they see. NPCs with a green health bar sort of count as allies, so like quest NPCs. They often don't report crimes, but sometimes they do, so it's better to just be really careful who you use criminal necromancer abilities around. It can be a little hard to predict sometimes, but I'm pretty good at sort of guessing after playing this game for nearly 10 years when that sort of thing is going to be a problem or not. Generally, you can figure it out, but yeah, better safe than sorry. And blast bones, you know, there's no reason to use it unless you're going to fight anyways, so we'll just continue looking around over here first for any additional things to pick up off the ground. Doesn't look like it. Alright, actually, hold on. There's maple tucked away. And you know what? On this mountain, I think there might be something as well. Alright, here's an example where I'm not going to use blast bones because that guard may see me from nearby. So we'll just go in, swing in. Don't need to get too fancy here. Fortunately, we've got plenty of other ways to deal damage without using blast bones. Up here, the guard's probably too far away, so we're gonna try a bit of blast boning from afar here. Yep, no one saw me, so we're in the clear. Bam. There we go. Powerful ability, but that's why it has this criminal component. This guy summoned another wolf, so I'm gonna save him. Ooh. Now that's kind of valuable. Alright. I will take it. Okay. Yeah, leads are... Oh, this is a whole other system. So this is the... what is the name of the system, actually? I never remember. Where is it? The Antiquities system. So this is something from the Greymoor expansion, which is the Western Skyrim expansion. So we're not going to be dealing with the system until I get there, even though this is a system that covers the whole game. because I don't really remember. I would rather just sort of, play with the content that's in each section. So we'll be coming back to areas to do these sort of expansion features now and then, but I'll worry about that once I get to Greymore.
Why am I
Hello, Shazim.
Leave me to my drink, stranger. If I can't remember what matters, might as well forget it all.
What do you mean?
I woke up on the shore. No idea how I got here. Barely remember my name. And this damned monkey won't leave me alone. Must be mine. It just keeps hooting at me and won't go away. Ugh, I need more ale.
How can I help?
Just go. Wait. Buy this monkey. Monkeys are great companions. I bet this one can find buried treasure. On an island like this, you'd recoup the cost tenfold. I just need some cornbread. We both win, eh?
I'll consider it.
He may be annoying, but I bet he's got a nose for treasure.
I might be interested in buying your monkey, I suppose.
Great. For the right price, he's yours.
How do I know he'll find anything?
Fine. I'll loan you the monkey. Take him around the beach, see what he finds. Just get the little screecher away from me.
Alright, Cowie. Looks like it's just you and me. He's also completely obscured by the UI here. Alright. The monkey looks at you hopefully. What are you trying to tell me? The monkey seems excited. It clearly wants you to follow it. I get it. Lead on. Alright. We have ourselves a bit of monkey business to get up to, as they say. Don't mind me, Cowie. I'm just going to mine all the ore as I follow you from afar. Alright. Down I come. Sand-covered blade. Beneath a layer of grit, engravings mark the blade as Shazim's. That's the guy that we just talked to. I'll take this, Cowie. Did Shazim lose anything else? Cowie looks at you expectantly as you pull the sword from the sand. Alright, I guess we've got to look for it ourselves with Cowie following along. Pick up some mushrooms here. What is this? Cowie's going crazy.
Raw seaweed. That's the secret. I could eat it for hours on end.
Okay, that's good to know. Bottle of rum. The family crest is prominently displayed on the front of the bottle. Okay. Somehow Shazim's belongings all got trapped in the sand over here. Waterlogged sack. A sight of weighted dice lies inside the pouch. Shazim's lucky dice. Alright, I think we're starting to see that this was not a innocent nobleman, but another pirate. Or pirate-adjacent person, a scoundrel, perhaps. No big shocker. Anyone that we meet on Sir Smakai can be probably presumed to be of questionable morality, at least by Imperial standards. Sand-covered pouch. What do we have here? Shazim's ancestral ring. The ring bears a family crest and the engraved motto, "By the Sword." Now that is a Red Guard motto if I've ever seen one. Very nice. Well, let's see if Shazim wants his property back. Probably he'd be interested to hear about what we found.
You again? What's it this time?
The monkey led me to these. I believe they are yours. I cannot talk right now.
Yes, my family brewed this rum, and my father's ring. It's coming back to me. My old blade, and my lucky dice. Now I remember. I'd even forgotten my dear companion, Cowie.
Do you remember what happened to you?
I'm still fuzzy on that. I was bound for Daggerfall when pirates hit us. I think I was thrown overboard in the battle.
At least you have your belongings now.
You're a godsend. Things are still a little hazy, but I think that's the ale. Take this gold for your efforts.
Thanks. Alright. We're almost level 6, not quite there yet though. Let's continue along. So Jakarn ran north, so we better follow him and see where he went off to. So also some more stuff to loot along the beach here, so we're going to descend down in just a sec here. Although first, looks like there is some quests for us to pick up over here.
Murdering goblins. Goblins. They're gonna kill us all.
What happened?
They killed everyone. My brothers, our 5 guards. They speared me good, left me for dead. I crawled here after they left. The new king's got them all riled up, ready to attack Port Hunding and wipe out the town.
What can I do about it?
Kill their king. They won't attack the town without him to lead them. Bring me his crown so I know the bastard's dead. I try to make it to town, unless the goblins kill me first.
I'll do it.
Just need to gather my strength and hobble back to town. Get that goblin king and bring me his crown if you can.
How do you run into the goblins?
We actually went looking for them, if you can believe that. We'd heard they had a new king and he was stirring up trouble. We figured we could handle them, but there were too many for us.
Why don't we just warn the town?
No good. Bosek will never believe it. He's a suspicious bastard. He'll think we're trying to trick him somehow. He'd have our heads on pikes. I'm too fond of my head to risk it.
What'll he do if I go after the king?
I'll try to make it to town. I'm too injured to be any good to you. And if the goblins catch me out here, I'm dead.
Fair enough. I'm going to change the setting here for that add-on. I gotta figure out how to do this though. Window? Okay, this looks promising. Okay, this is probably going to be better. Hopefully you can still read this okay. Let me know in the comments if you have any trouble with that. This way we can see everyone's character models, even if they're sitting down or whatnot. Alright, so grab this stuff here. So there's a Durzog there. These guys are pretty weird, but no one's around. That means it's blast bones time. Into the leg. Ooh, another lead. This time on the Dwarven puzzle box. Morrowind references, love that. Alright, let's check out down here. No treasure chest right now, but sometimes there's a chest that spawns down here. Never hurts to check. Just a blade in the ground. Alright. Alright. Ooh, that is actually an upgrade dropping from this Durzog. Oddly enough. High elf shoulders. Alright, this does not improve the fit, but we are going to roll with it because it does have better stats. I mean, arguably the fit can't be made worse, so it's an improvement horizontally, if anything. It's, yeah. Alright, let's just loot all this stuff over here. You can also be killing all the mud crabs to get leather scraps from them, but that's going to be too much work. May as well just grab the stuff from the ground and move on. We're going to get leather scraps from killing people, or killing animals really, pretty frequently, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Alright. Head down here. What do we have here? A corpse. This woman was killed by wild beasts. You spot a folded piece of paper tucked under her belt. Though it is stained with dried blood, you can still make out some writing. Examine the note. A reward is hereby offered for all dwarven relics delivered in good working order. Monies paid depend on condition, rarity, and usefulness of said relic. Pieces of relics are also accepted depending on condition. Rulorn. This is the guy that we saw in the town with the dwarven sphere, and he was talking about wanting to get dwarven relics, so this adds up. Take the gear and the note. Sphere assembly. Alright. Collect dwarven parts. So this is an example of a quest that has us basically going all over the island to pick up dwarven parts all over the place, so we're just going to gather these as we go. But I've played this tutorial island so many times, I'm just doing it on autopilot, honestly. I'm not really reading the quest too closely because I know exactly the route that I'm going. Once I get further in, I've played through the entire Daggerfall. Actually, I played through all of the different main quest lines before, but I've played the Daggerfall quest line the most, so I'm very familiar with, especially the first parts of it. Hello, Dog Eater Butcher. This is a goblin here. A little bit outside even melee range for this game, I suppose. Got a Durlog friend. Not for long. Oh, to attack him. I suppose that's fine. Alright, and the little mark on the ground, that's the corpse of the blast bone staying behind for a brief bit, so we can make use of it for necromancer abilities. You know, these Argonian shoulders are probably going to look a bit better. Let's see how we're... Yeah, alright, sure. I mean, it's the same quality at this level, so... Here, finally we found ourselves a chest. Can unlock this. I'm pretty good at the lockpicking game at this point, so... Let's crack this open. Oh, level 6. Very nice. Level up really quick. I am standing somewhere where there will be someone respawning, so I don't want to be here too long. Again, Legermain, because I did some lockpicking. This is your stealth passive tree with a bunch of stealth abilities you can grab there. But nothing really too interesting right now. Alright, let's head over here. I think... Was it over on this side, or was it? I think it's back there. Okay, so let's work our way around. There's a lot of quests kind of tucked away in corners of zones, so you always want to... If it's your first time in a zone, you always want to sort of look for yourself and see. Also, there's just resources all over the place, and again, especially with the craft bag from ESO Plus, gathering these resources... Oh, look at that. There's a chest hidden back here. I'm glad I checked, because sometimes I spot a chest back here. You always want to... If you think some place is a place where there could be a chest or some sort of resource hidden, it's usually worth it to check. Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty good ring. I could probably construct that or research from that. Alright. Let's make our way around. Very nice. Grab all these resources. Not too much to really add. We're just picking up stuff as we go. So this is part of the game for me, especially. I don't want to miss anything. Nothing that's in my route. I'm not going to run to every resource I see because I'll never do anything, because you can always see stuff in the distance pretty easily. But it is usually worth your time to pick stuff up sort of as you're moving around. Little quest back here. That's why I came over here, to be honest. But let's see what is going on in this little cave. Also loot the cave. Seems like a smuggler's hideout to Quintus here. He's seen one or two of these before, to be sure. Let's just loot it and then take a look at that body. Seems to be so much murder happening on this island. He wonders what's going on with this body to make it special. Siraj. This Redguard died recently. Something is clutched tightly in his hand. Pry open the dead man's hand. You hold a crumpled note. When you open the note, out falls a steel bracelet bearing an image of crossed swords. Though it has little monetary value, it may have sentimental value to someone. Read the crumpled note. Tarina, you were right. Urilla betrayed us. She's dead, but her blade was poisoned. I'm dying. I pray whoever finds this treasure I pray whoever finds this returns the bracelet to you and tells you of my fate. Reward them. All my love. Siraj. If I find Tarina, she may reward me for returning these. Alright. So, if you weren't paying attention earlier, we actually have already met Tarina in the town, which, if you do know who that is, just from the earlier footage, you were really paying attention. But if you weren't paying attention, or if you've never seen her, the game does give you just the quest marker. She's the surly Redguard woman by the fountain who said that she didn't want to be bothered. That's Tarina. So we have to go there and tell her about her friend here. But if you didn't meet her before, the game just gives it the quest marker. I kind of miss the Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind days when you had to actually find people through doing basically detective work, and the game would give you a quest marker. But for an MMO, I understand that most people aren't playing this game in that way. Most people are playing it for the combat and the group stuff, and not really for the questing. But I'm here for the questing, so I wish I didn't have the quest markers. I suppose I might be able to actually disable quest markers, but unfortunately, as with minigames that have quest markers, the way the quests are actually written don't really allow for a lot of like good self-detective work. This one here would have been fine because it's not a very big town, but just knowing from this information she might be in the town doesn't really like give me a lot to work with. But I guess I could just not look at the quest markers, which is probably what I'll do anyways, just for a bit more of immersion. But I know where she is anyways because I've played this so many times, so it's a kind of a moot point either way. I'm not going to pretend to not know where she is. That's just going to slow down what's already not the most fast-paced video on YouTube. That's saying the least. Or I guess not saying the least. Alright. Let's finally catch up with Jakarn and take a look at this dog-eater goblin camp. Alright. Here we go. He just comes flying in from the back. Love that. The blast bones are pretty fun. Because they spawn up and then they basically launch at whoever you're targeting. Alright. Seems to be an old mine that's in disrepair. Oh. I've attracted some attention here. So fill some of the soul gems that we bought earlier. Spend some necromancy for fun, not super needed. Again, at these early levels, combat's going to be extremely easy, especially for someone that's played this game as much as I have. But it's more about kind of exploring our abilities as we're leveling. Again, they're mostly on my bar just to level themselves up and not because I need these abilities specifically. It'd be more efficient to just keep using the skull ability, maybe when it's morphed, instead of using this other stuff, but I need to have it leveled up so that my post-level 50 builds have access to all the options possible. Plus, it's kind of fun to sort of, you know, cast some criminal abilities. Oh, here's a master chest. Let's see if I can do this in one try. I think I can. Easy peasy. Alright, I've done the lockpicking in this game way too much. This is actually an upgrade, bizarrely, so we're going to throw on this Dagger of the Trainee. Well, it's an upgrade. If it's an upgrade, it's an upgrade, so onto the bar it goes. Another dagger with shield situation, but it is an upgrade, so we're going to use it. It's going to be the same value as the sword that we just had. Actually, it's going to be better because it's a higher level. So what I should say is that daggers in this game are not they're not mechanically different than other one-handed weapons. At least I don't think they are. There's a few passives that do give different bonuses to different kinds of things, like daggers and whatnot, but generally daggers are interchangeable with one-handed swords, axes, and maces. So nothing to worry about. Now, we need to go in the entrance there to go find Jakarn, but first we have to kill that Goblin King that the Nord wants us to go and defeat, and he's a bit past the entrance and the outside. Let's head over to him first. Although first I'm going to go grab this stuff by the water and kill some more of these guys. I think guards nearby, I don't think so. Necromancy. I think only casting blast bones is the act. Us being seen near a blast bones is not necessarily criminal, because I don't think it is. I'm not entirely sure, honestly, but I'm fairly sure that casting the ability is the criminal act, not being seen around the ability, because no one can prove that I casted it. I mean, obviously that's a good logical deduction, but I suppose that's our argument in court. We go to, if we go to Stros Mackay Court, aka Headman Bosek's room, where he just decides to kill you or not, and by which I decide to kill me, I mean he just will usually just kill me. That's the justice system here on this island. I should have gotten my law license on Stros Mackay, actually. I think I made a tactical error getting my law license anywhere else, because this seems like a great place to be a lawyer. Your Honor, Your Honor, my client pleads not guilty. And then Headman Bosek is just wearing a judge outfit. No. Plea not accepted. He's guilty. On to the pike he goes. Oh, okay. Alright. I don't know why I thought that was such a funny concept. But I'm trying to imagine Headman Bosek wearing like a judge outfit. He's trying to be a judge. Oh man, alright. This is, Man, alright. Anyway, so that Goblin King is nearby. Maybe only a little bit less just than Hedman Bosek. Let's just power our way over to him. Here we go. Team. Wow. King Demog. There we go. Now this guy is a boss enemy, so he has 127k health. But by myself, this should not be a huge problem. Let's just go ahead and throw... That's not the right button. Alright, we'll just work here. There we go. Casting his blast bones on cooldown. This is a lot of damage. This is a thunder ability, or lightning ability rather, it's fine. We've got our skeletal armor, let's verify that. Let's throw on Soul Siphon, there we go. Alright, kind of a janky fight, a battered crown. A battered crown, most of the filth has been wiped away. Alright. Ooh, here we go, here's a Thieves' Trove. These are pretty rare, but these are worth looking in because they give you a lot of extra stolen goods. It's good to just go for those when you spot them. Also, this unlocks the Thieves Guild skill line, so I should have that now. Yep, here it is. So, we're going to be dealing with the Thieves Guild much... Oh, he's respawned already. We'll just attack him again, that's fine. Let me get another good item from him. Oh my gosh. That's a Templar using a Templar Javelin. He's actually stuck in the corner here. Sucks for him, I guess. We'll help this guy kill him. Necromancer and Templar fighting together. That's pretty unusual. But hopefully this guy doesn't mind my necromantic power. Can't do anything about it. Just not like characters can report other characters to the guards for breaking the law. That'd be a fun system, though, if that were possible. Alright, now before he respawns again, let's get out of here. Is this guy looking to team up with me? Doesn't seem like it. We'll just leave. Now, we need to return to that Nord to tell him about killing the king. But first, let's help out Jakarn. We'll come back for the Nord later. I think he's just in the town now, so we have to go find him. Alright. Now, did I do have skill points. Let me get somewhere safe, then I'll level something up. Probably need to get my new one-handed shield skill. That's probably what's next, honestly. So, oh, there's Jakarn. Hello, Jakarn.
I unlocked the door. Now we can retrieve my gem. I'll see you inside.
What does the gem look like?
It's as pretty as the thing can be, and as big as my 2 fists.
Alright. Okay, probably want to go ahead and grab Low Slash. Not an amazing ability, but I want to level it up, so... Also, we can morph Puncture if we want to, but I'll deal with that later. Let's grab Low Slash for now. Soul Trap can also get morphed. Now, Soul Trap is worth morphing because we're going to keep it on this back bar, or rather on our 5th slot for a while, because you can benefit from its actual effect, even though you're not using it in your main rotation. It's handy against boss enemies because it counts as quite a bit of damage over time, and getting the Soul Gem when you kill them is also quite a nice bonus. Okay, before we go in here, I'm going to take a quick break, so I'm going to just go ahead and put Jakarn on the screen, which is exactly what he'd like, and I'm going to be right back. Hold on, let's see if I can do this. Alright, give me just 1 second. Alright, we're back. Hope you enjoyed the uninterrupted Jakarn cam. Many people would pay for this kind of view, but here we are getting it for free. Thanks, Jakarn. Alright, let's go recover this gem. Alright.
They store everything on the upper level.
Jakarn says frantically for some reason. Alright. So what low slash, I didn't even read what low slash does, my mistake. Low slash, let me read this now. Surprise an enemy with a deep lunge, dealing 2,474 physical damage and afflicting them with minor maim, reducing their damage done by 5% for 15 seconds. So this basically does a little bit of damage for the stamina cost. It's not amazing, you're probably better off just using a regular attack, but the main point of low slash is actually the debuff you're giving, reducing the damage that they deal, which obviously for a tanking specialization like one-hand shield is pretty handy. Alright, here we are in this kind of maze-like goblin mine area, so let's just start killing goblins. It's good to get some practice with our abilities. Really, like in a lot of MMOs, a lot of the questing gameplay is more about practicing your abilities for group content where they're really more put to the test. But this game has so much questing, and some of the later areas, as you level up, also get more and more difficult. I would say that by the time you're basically hitting level 50 and you're in late game areas, the overworld questing does actually become a bit more complicated with difficult packs of enemies and interesting strategies you have to deal with. But honestly, I'm not expecting to be too challenged most of the time, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if something catches me off guard and actually requires some more strategy. The fun part's going to be dealing with world bosses, where I think with this build, I should be able to do a little bit of world boss soloing. That's going to be a little questionable, because while I'm below level 50, world bosses really are not balanced to be soloable at all. But it's possible as a tankier character, like what I'm doing with the Quintus right now. I guess we'll see. I don't know if Necromancer is the best for world boss soloing. Maybe I could pull something off, but really I'd need to be a Templar to really effectively solo. Templars, in my opinion, are generally pretty overpowered. And although I like the sort of class fantasy of Templars quite a bit, I don't like playing as Templars because you have an extremely powerful but kind of boring main ability, which, in my opinion, just kind of overwhelms all of their strategy. And if you're playing a melee Templar, I should say, biting jabs at its morphs are just really difficult to pass up. And when you're a min-maxer like me, I want to make use of the best abilities, and Templar just doesn't have a super versatile toolkit if you're, maybe I'm being unfair. I haven't played Templar in a long time, so maybe they're not so boring these days. ZeniMax does rebalance the classes every so often and change some of their core mechanics, but I don't know. I'm happy playing a Necromancer. I think this is an interesting experience. A lot of the Necromancer abilities are so bizarre and have such weird balancing that it makes for kind of a more interesting gameplay experience. But a powerful one if you really learn what you're doing. Necromancer is considered one of the hardest classes to sort of master, but it's really good when played by an expert Necromancer player. And playing kind of a melee armored Necromancer is just kind of a fun bit of also we got our first epic item, that epic rune there. Yeah, playing like a heavy armored Death Knight style Necromancer is pretty fun as well, even if we're using a shield and a dagger. Not the most intense loadout there. Alright. What do we have here? Some more stuff to loot. Always worth checking this stuff. Alright.
This is the part where I trust you.
What are you talking about?
I'll kill the goblins in the scaffolding in the next room. You grab the gem. It's in a chest on the floor. There's a passage on the far side. Take that and meet me outside. If something goes wrong, regroup at the inn in town.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Let's see him up there, by the way, fighting goblins. Okay, there's the boss. Let's try to get into this fight before this other guy kills him. If we do any damage to the boss at all, we will be able to loot him, so may as well. So we'll sneak in here, loot this chest. These sort of quest chests, everyone can loot them, so we're not stealing anyone's loot by grabbing it like that. These boss enemies often, as we saw earlier, respawn quite quick, so let's loot this area. Lots of meat to loot, so we may as well grab this pork. Let's hope that it's pork. The craft bag will treat it like pork, but it certainly seems to be something that's not pork. So we'll just grab all this stuff. Lots of provisioning materials that we can just grab for free, and then we move on out of here. Alright, hopefully Jakar makes it out alive. Colleen will not be happy if we got her her thief of choice killed in the goblin mine while we were trying to rescue him from Bosek's prison. I guess we'll see what we're dealing with here once we leave. Alright. Ah, there he is. Wait, no. That's not Jakaran, that's some other person. Well, let's go see what she has to say. I did say to regroup at the inn, so we may have to head there later. We're going to do a big sort of loop of the island, doing all the quests as we go. Again, I have an entire route that I've played many times over the years. I remember playing this in, I think 2015 is when I first played the game. I played the game actually oh, I did not mean to fall there, but that's all right. We landed somehow in the water and didn't take fall damage. Don't know how he pulled that one off, but Cascus is already a master of life and death and fall damage. That is true necromantic power right there. Hello, Moglurkle.
What were you doing in the mine? And did you see a scummy Breton up there?
I only saw Prince Jakarn of Westry. No scummy Bretons in sight, actually. What's his name?
Jakarn. He's a liar and a thief. He stole a gem from Headman Bosek. Now, if the gem came back, Bosek might let him live. Can you help me, or not?
Sorry, haven't seen him.
Now that's just too bad. If you do run into him again, tell him that if we catch him, he's dead.
Alright. Yeah, unlike me in real life, Cascus is perfectly willing to lie to authority figures and the doers of the justice of this land, in this case, Headman Bosek, especially to help out his new friend, Jakarn, and his friend, Captain Colleen, or his presumed friend, Captain Colleen. You never have too many friends when you're trying to not be killed by pirates in the high seas. I mean, technically, Cascus is sort of stranded here at the minute, although obviously we did go to Daggerfall last episode, but in the lore, Cascus is kind of stranded here on the island, and having Colleen's help to leave would be handy, to say the least. I'm just trying to check and see if these people have dialogue, which they don't. So you're going to notice a lot of people riding around on horses, gathering materials. A lot of higher-level players, or even lower-level players, will do circuits around the tutorial islands, where the spawn rates for the resources are pretty high, and because these islands are very carefully designed to be very friendly to new players, it's very easy to kind of maneuver around, and there's not a lot of hard enemies, so even high-level players will come back here and loot the resources on the islands, because they're often ignored by newer players. Oh, there's a gear right here. I actually did not notice that. Let's pick this up. Good thing I checked. Alright. It's the second of 4 gears we have to find. Okay. Let's go and see what's going on with this quest over here. We'll get back. I think Jakarn's actually, yeah, Jakarn's in the inn, as he said to be. And there's Guganir the Nord. We'll go back and talk to them later. Oh, being attacked by a wolf. Let's do a little low slash with this dagger. Don't know how I managed to get a low slash off with a dagger this short, but that's okay. Let's see what's going on over here. There's a bunch of players over here is what's going on. Ooh, look at hello. No, she's cute. You're cute too. What is going on here? We got the goat squad. 2 cuties and a goat and a sheep. All right. Not the worst way to start. And we also what's this? We got a wisp as well, a wisp mother. Okay. I don't know what's going on here with Grubby Grunion, but this is the most interesting this tent's been in a few years that I've seen it. I'll say that.
I hope you're not here to kill goblins. If you are, we'll have a problem.
Uh-oh. I hope he doesn't know what I was just doing in the cave. Why?
My friend is in that camp. Mark. He's lost his mind. The goblins stole Mark's special brew. Expensive stuff. Losing it broke him. He went mad and ran off to join his tribe.
Your friend left to be a goblin?
Crazy, isn't it? He's mad as a Bosmer. Won't listen to a word I say. I'll make you a deal. Find Mark, convince him to come back. I'll trade you some gold, and we'll both walk away happy.
I'll see what I can do.
Start by looking for Mark's special brew. If any is left, the smell might make him slightly less crazy.
What makes this brew so special?
Fermentation, flowers, a number of other things you don't want to know about. Tastes like honey, but kicks like a horse. If he sold it, he'd be rich, but he just drinks it all.
Interesting. Well, this was a classic Elder Scrolls scenario. Help, my friend thinks he's a goblin. Ooh, orcish mug, rugged. Oddly lore-appropriate find here for this camp, where there's currently an orc standing right there. Go ahead and learn that. These, all these containers obviously have randomized loot, although they're randomized within certain parameters. So, like, seasoning sacks will have seasoning, and then barrels will have things like isinglass and whatnot. Alright, so we have to go and find Mark, who is up here, although first, there's some stuff to explore up here at the end of the road, so let's continue this direction. We could fight these assassin beetles, but they're slightly tougher, and the loot they drop is not particularly amazing, so there's no need to, unless they're directly in the way. Let's also check all these pewter seams, because these are jewel crafting materials, and they have a chance to drop very valuable and very, very, very rare jewel crafting material. So you may as well always mine those when you see them. Also, regular ores, you can see there, can also drop jewel crafting dust occasionally, although not super commonly. Alright, we just blew up the wolf. Phenomenal. There's a whole little area back here without any people, but there's just a lot of resources tucked away. This is the fun part. You can see, by the way, players riding around. I like how so this area, remember, was sort of current content basically like 9 years ago. Like this, even like 8 years ago, the Morrowind expansion came out, and there was already more recent content than this. So there's still people coming back here, though, because everything scales with you. You can go and gather resources in lower level areas because the level scales up with you, and all the resources are also spawning specifically for you. And so each player sees their own phased version of all the resources, so they're going to get resources that are correct for their level. And at the minute, at low level, all the resources we're seeing are like iron ore and whatnot. But as our level increases, we're going to see resources that scale with our level, even if we're in a lower level area. Or, I shouldn't really call this a lower level area. That's not really true in this game. It's maybe more accurate to say a earlier in the story area, or like a an earlier. I guess that's technically true. So another thing as well, which is a little hard to wrap your head around, I can go to any zone that I want. So for example, the final zone in the Daggerfall Covenant storyline is Bankarai. I could just go there right now if I wanted to. I'd have to sort of make a bit of a journey to get here, but I could just go straight to Evermore and start doing quests here. I just wouldn't be able to do the Daggerfall Covenant main quest, at least not in the sort of the right way, without having the preconditioned stuff from Alakir Desert, and then before that from Rivenspire, before that from Stormhaven, before that from Glenumbra, before that from Betnik, and then before that Stros Mackay. So, but I could go and do a lot of the side quests here if I want to, and everything here would be scaled to my current low level, and that's possible. And I could actually go to any zone and any expansion in the game and do that right now. I'm self-imposing the strict pathway to follow the story progression for the benefit of the narrative of this playthrough, but the great part about this game, if you want to play it yourself, you don't have to follow my exact route. Obviously, following the sort of flowcharts you find online of the order of quests helps for narrative cohesion, but much of the game is designed to allow you to do basically any area you like, in any order you like, and the game has a lot of changes to the quests to make them work, even if they're not in the traditional order. So, for what that's worth, I thought I'd note that there. Alright, let's gather from this runestone. Another blue rune, that's pretty good. Alright, over here is one of these points of interest. These aren't areas that have anything specific, but they're kind of cool landmarks, and one thing I'm doing as I explore the island is I'm completing all the different map completion things, and we can actually see all the different points of interest. We've already discovered the Dog-Eater Goblin Camp. That was the one that we went into here. This is a Rash Merchant's Plummet. You can see, oh, there's a chest hidden back here. Glad I came to look. This is why you gotta explore around, because probably this chest will have like a weapon and maybe a rare armor material, but it could drop something really valuable like a motif book. Those are pretty rare. or something that's of legendary quality. I guess we'll see. Yeah, maple restoration staff, green quality. Yeah, the higher tier the lock is on the chest, the better the equipment inside, or the better the items inside will be. It's always worth checking. Even like a normal difficulty or low difficulty chests are still worth looking in. At this point, with my experience with the lock-picking minigame, it takes a couple seconds to open any lock for me. And when you're dealing with a master level lock, you only get a couple seconds to open it, but I can still pull it off almost every single time first try. Not that I'm bragging or anything. You'd be surprised how little I bring up my Elder Scrolls Online master lock-picking abilities on first dates. Perhaps I should bring it up more. I'd have more luck on first dates, but you'll be shocked to hear this is not what makes the maidens of the real world swoon and, get more interested. Although it should. It's a very powerful skill. Didn't teach me that in law school, but they should have. This is something everyone should know. Every lawyer should know. Master lockpicking. Anyways. I don't know why I even speak. It's a mistake, clearly. Continue salvaging everything. And then up on this hill is the goblin camp, so we will go look for Goblin Mark in just a minute here. First, we gather all the stuff from the ground. Alright. Now, all this gathering will come back in a great way for me once I start crafting in a couple episodes, probably, once I get to Daggerfall, because I'll have all this material all ready to go, so I don't need to do any more gathering for the crafting that I'll be doing. And I will probably want to do my crafting writs every day. Now, something that I have to think about is how I'm going to handle the issue of crafting writs if I'm not doing entire episodes every day. I'm probably going to just go ahead and do the crafting writs mostly off camera, unless I happen to be doing one when I'm doing a recording session. But I don't think anyone's going to mind missing out on watching me do all the crafting writs. I'll just report to you all how it went, because I do want to do it every day to keep up with the possible income from that. And I'll probably also, once I get to Daggerfall, do a round of thievery and sell all the stuff for my fence capacity every day as well off camera. I think that's probably going to be okay to do. I don't think anyone's going to need me to show more than I am showing on camera. Again, the main purpose of this playthrough is to mainly show off the quests, which I'll do all those on camera, and doing the sort of overworld exploration. But the sort of repeatable stuff that maybe I'll show everyone one instance of it to sort of show you what happens, and then I'll do the rest of it off camera. I just don't want to make episodes every single day, because that's really beyond what I can pull off at the minute. But I want to do some of this stuff on its daily cooldown, so I'll figure out what works. I'll continue sort of thinking that through, because I want to find the right balance here. Because some people may enjoy watching me sort of sneak around and loot everything in Daggerfall every day, because it's honestly kind of fun. And it's fun to do. It's very, very lucrative. You can easily make thousands of gold if you know what you're doing with daily thievery. And it's so valuable that it's really worth doing every day if you're able to do it. And I think I can pull it off. Why is this guy damaged? Oh, this is a glitched guy right here. Also, I didn't summon my skeleton, did I? Alright, I think the server's crashing. Okay, for the first time this is happening so far in ESO. Oh, hold on. I guess just that guy specifically doesn't work, and I can't summon people near him. Interesting, alright. Well, let's hope that the game doesn't crash on me and kill me unexpectedly. There's a Mark's Special Brew. Goblin Mark is up there, I think. Alright. May as well clear out these goblins. Now again, they're going to respawn quite quick, so there's really no reason to put a lot of work into clearing out the area. But it's kind of fun to imagine that I'm able to do this, and it has an effect. One downside of it being an online game is there's no real progression that you're giving to the world. Everything is respawning constantly. That's a very fast respawn rate too. You have to basically race against the respawn rate, which can add difficulty sometimes in especially public dungeons. You have to be very careful. I think we found Goblin Mark.
Who? Go away.
Mark, I found your special brew.
Brew? Yes. Where did you get it? That smell. Wait. Where am I? What am I wearing?
You're in a goblin camp, acting like a goblin.
I remember now. Too much root pulp. Less kick, more crazy. Grubby was right. I'm out of my gourd. Things are starting to make sense again.
So you'll head back to town. Oh
I'm
my
not
gosh.
spending another minute in this camp. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Excuse me. He walked directly into me right after stripping naked. Thanks, Goblin Mark. Oh, he's walking away. Alright, he's bearing it all. Alright, well, I guess if your options were be in your underwear or wear stinky goblin robes, I maybe would act the same way. Canceling them, I suppose. Let's avoid this glitchy goblin. Don't want to get... I'm worried that I'll die to a glitch. I mean, this isn't like an Iron Man playthrough, so it's not like I can't die, obviously. And for an MMO, not allowing myself to die would be a bit absurd, unless that was the whole point of the series. But I would just be embarrassed to die in Stros Makai. I would consider it a great mark of shame against my Elder Scrolls abilities. But maybe I shouldn't speak so soon. There are some possibly tough fights if I'm not super careful coming up. I think I can probably manage it, but we shall see if I eat my words. Could be. It's been known to happen. We got the people riding around. Honestly, even though sometimes the people's costumes are a bit immersion breaking, it's so great to see just all the activity. Like, this is a lot of activity. And this is a tutorial island, so a lot of new players are here and low-level players. As you get into higher level zones, or sort of more late-game zones, the density of players is going to drop quite a bit, but it's nice to see so much activity for like a 9-year-old game. For an MMO, that's really quite impressive.
Where's Mark? Did he listen to you?
I gave Mark his brew and he left the goblin camp.
You gave him... Damn! He ran off to drink it all himself, didn't he? I have to get back to town. Take this, and thank you, friend.
Alright. Now here's something really cool.
Save some for me.
So, Grunion and Mark actually will be in the town, and you can go find them after this quest and talk to them to get an update on what they're doing. Which is not, like, part of the quest, it's just, like, a little attention to detail. And there's so much like that in this game. So much attention to detail where... like, no one would ever think to check that, but these characters who say they're going to town do appear in the town as regular NPCs, and they can tell you kind of what they've been up to since you did their quest for them. Many characters, and look at this guy, by the way. Now this is an Imperial gentleman right here, Imperium Novum. Julius Curidus. Wow. My goodness. Alright. That is... I thought my character had an Imperial visage, but that is an Imperial man with a capital I. Holy moly. Wow. I'm speechless. Anyways, I have so many... Also, I'm so excited to also share my fun stories from my years of playing ESO, just as a taste of the kind of shenanigans I got up to in the past. One time, years ago, and this was like, I think 6 years ago or something like that, because I was in college at the time, because I was playing ESO on my laptop in my dorm room. Now that was not the best gaming experience. I could barely play this game on low settings with like 10 FPS, but I was trying my best to make it happen. And at the time I was playing as an Altmer, a high elf, and I joined an Altmer guild, like a roleplay guild. But it wasn't just any Altmer roleplay guild. It turned out, and I discovered this after joining the guild, it was specifically like an Altmer supremacist guild. Like the theme of the guild was like racist Altmer, because in the lore, many Altmer are Altmer supremacists and think that they're better than other races. So that was pretty interesting, because I got to basically be around a bunch of people role-playing, at least I hope they were role-playing, as racist elves. So that was quite the experience, and since then I've never been able to play an Altmer without thinking about that. So for what that's worth, a little fun story. I guess while I'm in town, I will swing over and talk to Tarina, who I mentioned earlier. May as well give her that bracelet, just so she knows what happened to her, I don't remember if it's said in the note, but it's her brother, is what she's going to tell us in a minute. Let's do some hopping and hustling to get over here. I also, even before that, so I think 8 years ago, before Morrowind even came out, the ESO expansion Morrowind, which was I think 2015 or 16, I played as a Dark Elf character. I'll continue the story in a second here.
Keep moving. I'm in no mood to chat.
I found this note and bracelet. Were they your brothers?
They knew that Goblin Spawn would put a dagger in our backs. Siraj never could pass up a pretty face. This bracelet was given to my ancestors by King Sahel. Siraj always wore it. Take this and thanks. Boop could guide you.
Alright, level 7. Okay. Need just level health for now. No need fancy. And with my additional point here, nothing to upgrade right now. I could start getting some passives, or I could start putting points into other things. Let me go ahead and get the Soul Trap morph, just because I'll have Soul Trap on my bar for quite a while right now. I think probably for the way I'll be using it, I want to go for Soul Splitting Trap. This is going to make it so that Soul Trap affects basically everyone near where I'm targeting within an 8-meter radius, so I can target just a group and Soul Trap everybody. But it only lasts for 10 seconds, and the magic cost goes down as it levels up, so that's okay. I'm gonna use Soul Trap more for its soul trapping purpose than for its damage over time purpose anyways. So now you see, now that we've got Soul Splitting Trap and not the original Soul Trap, it resets to rank 1 with no progression, and we can continue ranking it up. These morphed versions are much slower to rank up. It's like 10 times as slow or something like that. So getting the morph is really kind of its own full purpose. It's not so much about getting the higher level versions of the morph, if that makes sense. Anyways, we may as well, while we're here, go and report the killing of the Goblin King to the Nord. And hopefully he has a reward for us. A Nord reward, one might say. That one being me, I said it. We can also go and deconstruct some of this gear that we picked up in our bit of adventuring that we've done so far. There's also a healthy amount of guild recruitment going on in the bottom left, which I've just been noticing out of the corner of my eye. That's always a good sign for an MMO. Love to see that. Lots of guilds do recruit in the tutorial islands because a lot of new players are looking for guilds. Alright, Gugnir, I have some good news.
Did you do it? Did you kill the Goblin King?
Yes, here's the crown.
By Kain, you did it. I've been expecting them to attack the town any minute. Bosek tossed me out when I tried to warn him. Said he'd have my head if I didn't shut up. He'll never know you saved his town for him. It's not goblins. It will be something else tomorrow. I swear this town is cursed.
Why aren't you in the tavern?
They kicked me out. They heard Bosek threaten me. They don't want to risk his fists storming in to arrest me.
Well, I guess that's a shame for him. This is definitely an upgrade. Also, it boosts stamina, and it's training modified. Goblin Slayer Chausis. Alright. The fit is slightly improving. This does look a bit better, I think, but still a ways to go. Keep an eye on that. Oh, hello, Irian. I think we may have a bit of Jakarn comeuppance coming up here.
If you're looking for that bastard Jakarn, he's at the tavern with a Redguard girl.
What happened?
I overheard him telling a Redguard girl he'd whisk her off to Sentinel, that he was a ship captain. She swooned like a fool, like I did. I'd tell the headman where he's hiding if I didn't hate the headman more. I need off this island.
Yep, can't say I disagree with you on that one, Irian. Hopefully we can get off, I almost said hopefully we can get off together, but let's not say that to Irian. Hopefully we can escape the island together, and maybe also get off together if she's interested in that too, but that is just a side objective. Hello, Jakarn.
Hey there. Glad to see you made it out.
Here's the gem you stole.
Hey now, the headman stole it first. And you brought it back to me, didn't you? Thanks, good looking.
You owe me for freeing you, and Captain Colleen needs your help.
Seeing as it's you asking, sure. If she's planning a job, I'm in. All I ask is a trip off this rock after it's over.
Sounds like we'll be getting off with Jakarn too. And I mean what I said. Alright, we're gonna get Jakarn's machete. Already, Jakarn's handing us his blade. We're getting off with him a bit sooner than expected, it seems. As are all the people around, by the way. He's got a crowd of admirers, which is a fun detail.
Hey there.
Nicolene jump scare. Alright. So she's going to give us the quest to do the heist, but we can wait until we get all the different people clean once before we start the heist, which is what I'm going to do. You actually get an achievement for gathering all the heist members Colleen asked for, but you can do the heist as soon as you get one person. So you can, if you're just speedrunning through the game, you don't need to gather all the heist members necessarily. But, of course, I do want to do that. Let's go for the Blacksmith's Crafting Crate from the level up reward here. And grab that point there. Alright. How are we doing on advancement here? This stuff's almost level 4. Until we get to level 20 and get access to the next set of these modifiers, impaired room talking, of these skills, I'm going to switch back over to the ones that I like better and maybe morph them so that I can level up the morphs. Maybe. I actually have a lot of stuff to spend points on right now in the early game, so I don't necessarily want to go too crazy with spending on morphs for some of this stuff. Probably would be worth... I could grab some Imperial skills. Not a bad idea. Or, you know, I probably should save my skill points for the crafting. I want to get to at least sort of a level 2 of the crafting stuff pretty early on. So I'm going to save my skill point for now. There's really no reason not to save skill points if you don't have something you need to spend it on right this second. And knowing when to save skill points and when to not spend it on something that you're not really needing right that second is a pretty good skill to keep with you here. Anyways, let's open up the crate. Alright. And I'm not going to open up this right now because opening a stolen container counts as thievery, so I will be spotted by everyone in the tavern doing this, so let's be careful about that. Now, what else did I want to take a look at here? Jakarn, where was it? Jakarn's machete. This is an upgrade. It's level 7. So this, it has the hardening enchantment. Okay, Jakarn. That was definitely done on purpose. And it's sharpened. All right, he knows how to get that physical penetration up. They know exactly what they were doing. Jakarn's hardened, penetrating machete. Very good. All right, so we're gonna throw this into our hand. Oh my gosh, I gotta. Let's just stop talking innuendos here. But this is an upgrade for sure. So this will give us, with hardening, a damage shield whenever we do an attack. Great for tanking, although at this point we don't need really the tanking support.
I didn't think I'd ever find you. You move around.
Can I help you?
I'm Nicolene. I work for Captain Colleen. She sent me to find you, see if you'd had any luck recruiting for our heist. Looks like you're already making new friends.
So even though we met her earlier, this dialogue is assuming that you just didn't see her, but I also like the idea that Nicolene is so enthusiastic to support Colleen that she just forgot that we talked to her in Colleen's cabin. Also, can you not smile at me with that expression? I feel like I'm about to get stabbed by a psychopath. You could say that.
Then listen, just so you know, we're set up in a hideout near the docks. Come find us when you finish recruiting. Look for Lambour outside the door.
I'll find you when I'm ready to leave.
There's 3 folks Captain Colleen wants to help with her heist. Crafty Larissa, Jakarn, and Naramo. She told me about them. Who do you want to know about?
Alright, so this quest again, once we are ready to do the heist, we can still get the 2 remaining people, Naramo and Crafty Larissa. Let's see what Nicolene has to say about these 2. Tell me about Naramo.
He's a brilliant Dwemer sage. Not that he's Dwemer himself, but he studies them. He's out of Bithzark, digging in the ruins there.
Where's Crafty Larissa?
She's in Saintsport. The Sea Drakes lured her ship onto the rocks. Those bastards really know how to ruin your day. It's south of Port Hundi. Look for the big lighthouse.
Okay. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's swing back over to the merchant area and do some deconstruction. Then we'll go find Naramo. Although I think actually... Yeah, there's at least one more quest we'll do before we get to Naramo. A little side quest. Yeah. Alright. Nice and steady progression here. How's my money doing? Okay, 1K. That's pretty solid for now. Can we do some deconstruction? Yep. I could also save some stuff to wait until I have the skills that make my deconstructions more effective, but that's not available right away. So it's really not worth it to save, because you want to get the experience from doing deconstruction for these skills anyways, honestly, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Then Blacksmith Station. Anything to research? Yes, there is. Anything for training? Yeah, the dagger. We'll do that research. I want to prioritize getting the training research first, I may as well, because we're going to get a lot of training gear. I'll just show you here. One thing to note is that along with, like I said before, every zone scaling with your level, this means that every zone has like special armor sets that anyone of any level could benefit from. So this gets into a big part of this game's meta that later on, much later on in this playthrough, we'll talk about much more as I start to like hit level 50 and start actually assembling builds for my character. And what this has to do with is the, where is it? The set items. So the main thing in this game that the end game prep revolves around is organizing your set for your build. So there's a whole bunch of places to sort of look for set construction, and what I'll do for now is just show the starter zones. So all of the starter zones includes Soros Mackay, Betnik, Knarthi's Roost for the Aldmeri Dominion, and Balfoyan and Bleak Rock Isle for the Ebonheart Pact. And all of the starter zones all have the same set that they drop, Armor of the Trainee. So Armor of the Trainee has light, medium, and heavy pieces of all types, so it's very versatile, and also every weapon type. And so basically, you notice, by the way, as I hover over this, what it says here is level 8, because I'm currently level 8. So what this is showing me is, this is the set, and these are, by the way, I've found medium armor, medium shoulders of the trainee. I found a dagger of the trainee, I literally found that earlier and I showed that, and I found a sword of the trainee, or a sword that sort of counts for that. And basically, if you are to find an item in a set, and this is just the Armor of the Trainee set, you can then, using transmutation crystals, I think they're called, actually craft this at your current level. So say that I'm level 50 and then champion points 160, which is the maximum champion points that items you craft scale up to. You continue gaining champion points after that, but the highest level equipment is level 50, champion points 160. So say that I'm at that level, and I want to craft a set of Armor of the Trainee, which its modifiers are adding health, magicka, and stamina. So this isn't a very competitive set for endgame, but it is, at those highest levels, scaled up to be usable by characters at endgame levels. So if you, for some reason, have a build that uses these particular modifiers, you want to spend your time, even as a max level player, in the starter zones finding these items from treasure chests, and from boss drops, or from just random drops. And the only place you'll find the set is in the starter zones normally. So that's a big part of this game's collection system, is different zones. And so, for example, the starter zones all share Armor of the Trainee. Let me go over, actually, so let me search Daggerfall Covenant and Glenumbra. So all of the main zones will have 3 sets. Each set will be a different armor heaviness. So, for example, the Bloodthorn's Touch is the light set, Hide of the Werewolf is the medium set, and then the Word Tree's Blessing is the heavy set. And you can see here the modifiers for these sets are all different. Generally speaking, there's sort of, for 2, 3, or 4 items of the set that you're equipped at the same time, there's standard modifiers, and then for each set there's a unique 5-item sort of modifier or bonus that's going to be different for everyone. So for example, this one here, when you have all 5 items, or when you have 5 items of the set, you can see that there's more than 5 items here, so you can set up whatever you like here. But when you have 5 items, you restore resources when you deal damage. This is like a unique thing for just the set. So every single zone has a bunch of these sets, usually 3. And again, so, you know, keeping in mind that with these different like special 5-item modifiers, with all of these different sets being craftable at max level, this is where this game's like truly open-ended like design and like build design is really, really fun. You can basically do unfathomable amounts of theory crafting and build design, which is a big part of this game that I really like. So even though I find the actual like solo and like questing gameplay pretty easy, the really fun part of this game is the theory crafting of like your endgame builds, because there are so many ways to create sort of bizarre endgame builds using all sorts of weird combinations of different weapons, different sets, different abilities, and paired with the already weird abilities of the Necromancer, we're going to have a really fun time with some really interesting sort of powerful build designs later in the game. But this is all very much far away. We're nowhere near a point where we're going to be dealing with this mechanic. But this is why the end game of ESO, to me, is really fun as someone that really loves theory crafting and planning crazy builds. And I'm, setting up this character to not really yet have a strong focus on tanking damage or healing. I'm leveling as a tank right now because it's just easiest to do that early on. But I'll eventually focus more on doing, I'll do healing next, and I'll level restoration staff and light armor. But ultimately I'll focus on probably having a medium armor DPS character once I get the rest of those areas fully leveled up. So just kind of explain that. And yeah, I can't overstate how many different sets. Like, look at all the DLC zones. All these places have 3 different sets each. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. And, like, all the dungeons all have a bunch of different sets. They have, like, even multiple different sets as well. Like, it's just, it's just crazy. It's truly, truly crazy. So, yeah. Absolutely wild. Look at the pig. Look at him. Look at that boy. Alright, sorry. I love pigs. Pig break had to be taken there. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue over and continue questing. Actually, did I actually do all the stuff I wanted to do? I did. Let me go somewhere discreet to open up the container so I don't accidentally do it somewhere not discreet. Let me just hide back here. No one will see me back here. Open the crate. There, we got 10 vibrant crates in. So that's 400 gold here, right there. But we have to sell that to a fence, and there's no fences on the tutorial islands. We have to actually get to Daggerfall to find our first fence. I guess we could technically go to other cities, but Daggerfall is the closest and easiest city to get to from here. But we'll get to that later. So we'll just keep this in our... Actually, can I store this in the bank? I don't think banks will take stolen goods, but I don't... For some reason, I don't remember if they do or not. I'm assuming that they don't. Yeah, they don't. I didn't think they did, so that's fine. I'm just gonna mark this as junk. Mark this as junk as well. Stuff that is character bound, I can't easily get rid of. All right, then we have some stuff to sell to a merchant. So let's do just that with Cheadle Ball. All right. All right, so I could buy a few more soul gems, but I don't think that's necessary. We're gonna find soul gems, both filled and unfilled, out in the world here and there. So there's no need to overstock on them too much. It's a trap to just get you to spend too much money if you focus on that. Actually, we want to go this way. Now I think I get my mount at level 10 because I'm just thinking I haven't got my mount pop up yet. Now when I bought the Imperial race, it actually came with an Imperial themed mount, which I can show you right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to mount up quite yet, but let me see that really quick. Yeah, the Imperial horse named Diamond by default. That's a fun name. May as well select this. Let me see if I can mount up yet. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. We got the look at that. We got the adventuring party. What is this? Actual like MMO adventuring party? What's my mount button? It may just not work because I can't mount up yet. Crack open the controls menu here. R? Okay. Ah. Alright, so we've got ourselves our Imperial mount. It's not going to move very fast. Mounts without any changes just move as fast as run speed. There's going to be some ways for us to speed this up, but I guess for now we can ride around. So I guess what happens at level 10 is we get our free mount, but we get this mount from having bought it. And this isn't really like, I don't consider cheating because I got this from getting the Imperial race, and I'm not moving any faster because I can't do any mount training quite yet. Mount training is basically a massive grind that's meant to sort of push you to buy with crowns the training boosts, but I actually don't mind the grind because you can only buy one like level of mount training every 20 hours real time, and you need 180 levels to fully power up your mount to have full speed, full stamina, and the third one actually boosts your inventory capacity, which is honestly pretty good even when you're not talking about mounts. But whatever the case, we'll worry about that later. For now, we've got some questing to do. The mount won't really speed up our adventuring, so we'll just stay on foot. Because honestly, being on foot is so much easier for dealing with picking stuff up along the way. Until your mount is much faster, it's honestly better just to run around on foot with so many resources to find in the area. Look at this statue. Fancy stuff. I don't think there's any guards nearby, so we're just gonna have chances with blast bones. Low slash level up, very good. Once I can, I'll probably switch back over to the other one because it's a bit more damage over low slash. Once I get it leveled up, load new broth.
Kill me.
Mother said this would happen. I can't do anything right.
What's the matter?
Mother sent me here to kill some big monster, but I don't think I can do it.
Why not?
Well, I hate violence, and I'm kind of forgetful. All I really want to do is make weapons, not hit things with them. But I promised Mother I'd try. Will you help me? I seem to have misplaced my sword.
Sure. Where did you last see it?
I had an awful battle with some monsters over this way.
Alright. So I remember from playing this quest many times before that Dugroth is very finicky about you falling too far behind. So I'm going to keep really close to him. I want to gather stuff along the way, but he will glitch out if we don't immediately follow directly behind him the whole way. So I guess that's as we're going to find out. That's
have to do something over here.
Consistent with his character, so we got to get his sword. This guy's not the most impressive warrior, as it will turn out in just a second here, but oh. Hello, appearing chest. Well, that's some good timing right there. Yeah, these chests will spawn, oops, all over the place. Alright. Here we go, Jack of the Trainee. So this will add that medium chest to the trainee thing. I don't think we had unlocked this one yet. Although it won't technically yet. So it gets added once we equip it and it becomes soulbound, or once we deconstruct it. So when we deconstruct that later, keep an eye out for that message saying that Jack of the Trainee has been discovered and added to collectibles. Eyes peeled for that later.
Just seeing my father's old sword fills me with courage. I can do this, I think.
What are you doing over here?
I was, preparing the bait. The beast won't come out of the water without this. At least, that's what Mother said.
Well, here's your sword. What's next?
Now we lure out the monster and kill it. Easy, right? I sure hope this proves my courage to Mother.
I'm ready.
Well, here we go. Please
All right.
Stay close.
Lead the way. I'll let you take point.
Careful now. Those mud crabs are tough.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you would think that.
There it is. Good luck.
Well, I suppose this is a big snake, so that's not necessarily not intimidating. But let's get this going. We actually grabbed that mud crab accident. Whoops. That's for soul gem. I suppose that's fine. The blast bone's coming. Grab that mud crab too. We killed him. Oh my gosh. Just burned to death. Ooh, this is a big upgrade right here. Heck yes. Let me throw this on. Alright, look at that. The fit's coming together a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't overstate that, but it's been worse. It's definitely been worse. Alright, let's go talk to Dugroth again. Getting the sense that his heart's not really in it. What exactly happened here? Looks like a fire atronach ritual gone wrong. Well, that seems to be what that looks like, at least, so we'll probably not want to get too tangled up in whatever's going on there. There's a lot of little details like that hidden around. You can just find lots of environmental storytelling, which is an Elder Scrolls tradition. I think I said that earlier, but it is really impressive just how much they've crammed into a world this large. Alright, Dugroth, let's talk.
Did you see how big that thing was? And those teeth?
I'm glad you made it out.
You found my sword. Thank you. I want to be a warrior and make Mother proud, but I also love smithing. What do you think? Should I become a warrior or a smith?
You're not cut out for warfare. Follow your passion and make weapons.
You said it. I'm not fighting anymore. I'll make weapons for others. Mother will just have to get used to it. Thanks for everything.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm done here. Come see me in Port Hunding.
Got Arizona Heatwave. Famous Imperial name. Actually, I don't know if that's an Imperial. Looks like an Imperial. Alright. Also, he will be in Port Hunding as well, I believe, as he said he would be. Alright, let's, before we go up here, actually go and talk with... Yeah, this guy's got the Imperial horse, so that guy probably is an Imperial. Let's go talk to, what's his name? I know the guy's name, for sure. What is his name? Why can't I remember anything? Naramo, that's his name. Alright. Let's go find him.
That old fool won't find me here. Time. Whatever it is, I didn't do it.
What are you doing out here, aside from rocking the unusual blue-themed Red Guard outfit? That's an interesting fit.
Who knows? Naramo, I guess, but not me. I'm only here on Bosek's orders, to make sure the elf does his job. I never agreed to dig around in the sand for mad dwarf toys.
Least British voice performance. I love how in this game the Wood Elves are inexplicably just very British. Like, I do like that the detail, and this is from the other games too, sort of a little bit, that all the elves have British accents of different types, where the High Elves have kind of a posh British accent, and the Wood Elves have kind of a more sort of Liverpool or like Cockney accent, while the Dark Elves have also kind of a posh British accent to sort of represent the different cultural norms. But it's as we'll see once I do the Aldmeri Dominion storyline, and we're in Valenwood, there's not that many Wood Elf voice actors, and they all sound very much like the same British voice actor with a very strong Cockney accent. So this is gonna be interesting. Anyways, what if I wanted to help?
Be my guest. Go talk to Naramo. I'm sure he'll be delighted to offload more of his task onto someone else.
I'll find him. Alright, so Naramo is over here, I believe. Let's see what he has to say about this whole business. And there's another Sky Shard. Let's go pick up another skill point. This will be the third of 3 Sky Shards, I believe, at this stage. And then we'll just have to find the last one. It's going to be elsewhere on the island. There we go. Alright, I think I just saved the skill point for now. Yeah, let me just save it for now. Here's Naramo down here. Hello, Naramo.
Miraculous. To think that the Dwemer of Old Volenfell settled as far as Stros Mackay. My brother and I have scoured the ruins' exterior for some time now, but we have never been able to get inside.
Why do you want to get inside?
Several reasons. One is that Headman Bosek commissioned me to explore the ruins. A fascinating aspect of Dwemer ruins are the ancient mechanisms to be found inside. Bosek thinks to use them in Port Hunding. I need to get inside to investigate.
Perhaps I can help.
An excellent suggestion. I believe this automaton can unseal the door, if it can be reassembled and controlled. I have its control rod, but 2 focusing crystals seem to be missing. Find them, and I'll do the rest.
One sec, Naramo. Eating an Oreo. What can you tell me about the Dwemer?
Some call them dwarves. A race of brilliant artisans and metalworkers who possessed great ingenuity. They built vast underground cities filled with remarkable inventions. Now such works are all that remain of the Dwemer.
Now, if you know anything about Elder Scrolls lore, and about the lore of the Dwemer, hold on to your seats for what Naramo is about to say when I ask him what happened to the Dwemer.
None can say for sure. Some believe they achieved divinity. Others claim they were consumed by some folly of their own. Perhaps both are true. But long ago they vanished, the entire race, leaving little but their marvelous treasures behind.
If you don't know about, especially Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind lore, this won't seem like that big of a thing for Naramo to say. This is like a reference to some very deep lore about the disappearance of the Dwemer. And I mean, I know in the story Naramo is like a Dwemer like scholar, so it's not unreasonable that he'd know about this. But the fact that this is just being mentioned so casually is really funny if you know about how deep this lore really kind of goes. Getting into a Kirkbride territory with this topic, so better abort before we get too far down that rabbit hole. Treasures?
dim the gleam of avarice I see in your eyes. The treasure I seek is knowledge, worthless to any but a scholar. Those who help me acquire this can expect to be well rewarded, however.
And that's more like it. Let's see what this says here. Guylane's Dwemer Architecture by Guylaine Marile. Editor's note. This is Guylaine Marile's outdated but entertainingly written reference on late Dwemer architecture. Excerpt was from the chapter describing the Second Empire style of approaches and defenses and mentioning the common formal convention of the 4 tests. The book also mentions that the Telvanni have adopted the 4 tests convention as an aesthetic element in their defenses and approaches to their towers. The test of pattern requires the observer to examine and analyze the patterns before he acts, with the understanding that many patterns are subtle or hidden. The test of disorder requires the observer to proceed systematically when no pattern is perceived. When the observer recognizes that many things must be done, and in no specific order, the procedure is to perceive and order all the things to be done, and upon doing a thing, to recall how and when the thing has been done. For example, the observer must remember the initial position of a thing, and also the new position of that thing. The test of evasion requires the observer to examine the obstacle and compare his resources and abilities. If the obstacle is too difficult, seek for a path around the difficulty. The test of confrontation requires the observer to examine the obstacle and compare his resources and abilities. If the obstacle is too difficult, look for a path around the difficulty, but if no path can be found, confront the obstacle directly. Oh boy. Alright, so yeah, I think that is a adaptation of a Morrowind ESO, or I'm sorry, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind text, hence the reference to the Telvanni out of nowhere. But yeah, there's a lot of texts that have sort of anachronistically been brought from later in the timeline back into ESO, and they've tried their best to explain where some of these are from, but most of them sort of don't make sense if you think about it too hard. Yeah. Although I like a lot of the new lore ESO adds, a lot of its recontextualization of old lore is more questionable, as I think the original lore was mostly just fine. And honestly, the game in the franchise whose new lore I like the least is Skyrim, and ESO doesn't really touch that too much. So, yeah. But the best thing ESO does, in my opinion, isn't so much retconning Skyrim lore, but more so introducing a broader audience that knows about this franchise through Skyrim to the more lore-accurate portrayal of particularly the Nords that's in ESO compared to what Skyrim has. So I definitely... Well, there's no treasure chest here, and also that backpack is empty, and I can't get out of here because of... Actually, with a mount, I might be able to get out of here. Can't remember if this is doable. Holy moly, it's doable on mountback. Or mountback? Horseback. I don't normally have a mount at this point, so I usually can't do that. I have to go around the bottom. That's a shame. All right. I mean that would have been a shame if I had to do that. It's not a shame now because I didn't have to do that. All right. Anyways, rambling aside, let's go and pick up these crystals that Naramo told us to go grab. This is the secondary one. A large clear crystal that glows with an inner reddish light. I did something. I think eating the Oreo screwed up my jaw muscle because now my jaw hurts for some reason. Not great for a video where I'm mostly talking a lot. We may have to cut this a bit short. I think once I grab the second gem and get ready to go into the dungeon of Zark, I'll probably end the episode here. I can't believe, and probably none of you can believe, that Stros Mackay will take 2 entire videos to cover. But I am being thorough. And if you enjoy this level of detail, get ready, because this is going to be the standard of this playthrough. I know that this would probably be a more broadly appealing playthrough and get maybe more views if I was going a bit faster and playing a bit more sort of normally, but the whole reason I want to make this, sort of like why I make any of my content, is because I'm making content that I would like to watch myself, and that I know many of you want to watch as well. So I'm filling a niche that I know from my own experience I want to see filled. And I don't think anyone else realistically is making like quest-oriented playthroughs of ESO anytime right now, especially not this older content. Maybe back in 2014, 2015, people made more videos covering the quests when they were sort of recent, but nowadays this content is so old, no one's really like discussing it too much normally, at least I don't think so. Anyways, let's grab this last crystal. I have to kill one more beetle to get over there. That's fine. There we go. Beetle scuttle. Alright, primary focusing crystal, a large, actually it's the same same description. Now we just gotta head to the entrance and find Naramo. We'll be able to head into the actual Bithsark dungeon and sort of see what's going on. Alright. Wolves have an ability to summon 2 low health wolf allies, which you can just kill with 1 attack. Or in the case of the Blast Bones, it basically explodes and does enough damage to the 2 allies to kill them immediately, so that's pretty handy. Alright, in we go to this Dwemer Ruin. Dwemer Ruins in this game are definitely a highlight for me. Even this early one that's pretty straightforward. They're just really cool areas with all the Art Deco design.
I've reassembled a spider, but I must be able to control it. That reminds me, did you find the crystals?
Yes, I have them right here.
Splendid. Now, I just insert them into the rod like so. By the way, I hope you can destroy this mechanism if it attacks us.
Okay.
Let's see here.
We just doesn't have time to answer before he starts meddling with the Dwemer spider.
It works! I knew it would, of course. Into the tunnel you go. Now to get that door open.
Interesting.
At long last, bizarre.
Hold on, wait. I just.
Come.
Why is there a crate of fresh tomatoes sitting here? Has Naramo been eating tomatoes from the crate, like as his meal, while he's been studying this door? What is this? What kind of provisioning is this? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go like study the door to the Bithsark that I can't open. Better bring my crate of tomatoes to keep me fed. Man, yeah, this is. I'm about to become racist against the Altmer, like I was previously in the racist Altmer guild. Now I'm going to be racist against the Altmer for this kind of behavior. This is true barbarism right here. But whatever the case, that's going to be it for this episode of the Cascus playthrough. A pretty fun and densely packed episode of Tutorial Island action. I think next episode we'll definitely finish Sturs Mackay and possibly start doing Betnik. I don't know exactly how I want to sort of organize this. Betnik's a bit faster than Sturs Mackay, in my opinion. I can definitely do Betnik in 1 full episode, but I'm not sure I can do the second half of Sturs Mackay and Betnik in 1 full episode. We'll see how I'm feeling, but whatever the case, let me know in the comments what you think about the progression of the series. Super excited to see everyone's feedback, as this is still kind of a newer approach to doing things for me, and I'm interested to hear what people have to say. But whatever the case, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.